Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Sup. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chuddle the Pod, a horror movie club where horror movie lovers have a feel-good time. On this show, we dive into horror movies club style by asking and answering the same questions about a different movie every episode, as we explore what we like or dislike in the genre that we love.
Ooh.
Yeah, I added that.
You tweaked that? That was nice.
As always, we will warn you before we enter the spoiler zone, and in this episode, we are chuddling Van Helsing.
Ooh.
Ross, it sounds like you're here. Is that right?
Oh, hey. Yes, I am.
Excellent. Brian, still not here. Gonna be honest with you. This is tough to say. We can't revive him from the dead. I've been working as hard as I can.
Well,
I put him on a board and stuck him in a lightning storm. It seems to have made things worse.
I saw what you did, and then I put him in like more of like a goo sack, and he's just mostly in cryostasis or goostasis. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in that goo sack, but he's just there dormant until we can have a chance to revive him.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Thank you for doing that. But we are not alone tonight. No, we are not. We are joined by first-time guests and fellow horror movie podcasters,
Yes,
rulers of the night, and people under the scares.
Yes.
Michael and Bobby, welcome to the show. People Under the Scares is the name of the show, in case I didn't make that clear.
That was an introduction. Oh
Yes, I love it. Say it again.
Bobby, Michael, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. I hope
Thank you for having us.
that we don't scare you away and that we can have you back another time.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a horror movie podcast show. They dive into movies. They don't always necessarily do just one movie. For instance, I just listened to the Valentine's Day Horror Lovers episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Sometimes we like to throw a little curveball with each episode.
Yeah.
And I stand by Leprechaun and his wife from the second movie belong together. And I will stand by that decision.
You know, I'm just going to take your word for that because I cannot recall. It's been a long time since I've seen a Leprechaun movie.
Are we going to be committing to a Leprechaun franchise?
I was going to say, looks like we got another franchise in the books.
Listen, March is coming up. So
That's true.
It's fate.
Perfect.
Well,
So much fun.
thank you for being here. Make sure to check out People Under the Scares, guys. I'm assuming you're on all major platforms for podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah, every Monday we come out with a new episode. We do Buffy the Vampire Slayer reactions on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Patreon.com/People Under Scares. Bobby and I do not agree on almost anything on that reaction. It makes for some interesting conversation.
Well, it's the spice of life, you know?
Angelus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first time watch because I never seen the show.
Mhm.
And Mike is enjoying the show. As you know, we experiencing it together. So it's been a lot of fun. We're on season 3 right now, and it's been a ride.
That's
Good for you. Yeah, there's a lot of episodes. How many seasons are there?
7.
7. Are you going to do Angel as well?
Yes. We're definitely, and if Mike don't want to do it, I'll do it.
Just solo, Flight Angel solo.
Yes.
That is Bobby's boo. I'm not a fan of him, but I suppose we could do Angel. It's connected.
Yeah, that's right.
It sure is. All right, cool. Well,
I will say it was a good show.
check out the show, check out the Patreon, because then you'll get to see those reactions.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now, before we continue, speaking of patrons, we need to thank our own patrons, our coven of patrons.
Ooh.
Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Yes. Thank you.
Patrons get bonus episodes where we cover non-horror movies. We do mailbags, creepypastas, gnarly histories, Chuddle battles where we pin villains from movies we covered against each other. We've been doing a lot of weird news lately. we have fun over there. It's a bit looser. We get a little loosey-goosey. So if you want to support the show, please do, and you'll get all that. You'll also get to participate and vote on stuff that we do and suggest movies. Like this one was suggested by a patron tonight. Now, with all club members present and accounted for, the coven avowed, it's time to crack open the goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
Give me that goo.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for it.
That was so good.
The anticipation.
And next with the party hardy logline tagline.
Let's do some lines. Why am I doing yours? Let's do some lines.
Thank you.
Okay.
Starting with our logline from IMDb. The famed monster hunter is sent to Transylvania to stop Count Dracula, who is using Dr. Frankenstein's research and a werewolf for nefarious purposes.
What? It was okay, and then it did not stick the landing. I think that there was some...
It gets hard to follow, but it's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but it sounds like the setup to a sitcom. Like, that doesn't really sound like, you know what I mean? Like, Dracula to werewolf.
He's said to stop Dracula, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a tough movie, I would say, to put into one line. I don't know if anybody has any better suggestions, but I'd keep it simple.
I would say a father's trying to birth his children and some bastard decides he's going to come in and destroy his plans. And
I like the reverse Uno on that. I like that. That's good.
Okay, so we're on Dracula's side in this one.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the hair?
I hated it.
Everything about him is a choice, for sure.
Period.
Bold choices were made in this movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it appears only in styling, not really much in storytelling. It's like everything else you've seen a million times. We'll get there. Taglines for this one.
Okay.
We got 3.
All right.
I find the first one to be very funny and uninformative.
Perfect.
A Stephen Sommers film.
That's it.
Yep. So whoever that guy is, the guy who made this movie, I guess.
Okay.
They thought it was good enough to put
I have a
his name.
question.
Yeah.
This guy did Deep Rising and something else.
One of the Mummy movies? Yeah.
Oh.
And so I was like, first of all, you didn't make those as long as this, so I don't understand why.
This is his magnum opus. Like, it's like...
Now I'm really going to show
what
them.
happened, sir? What happened?
If you guys like The Mummy, wait till you see
I
Van
enjoy
Helsing.
The Mummy.
Oh, The Mummy's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what got him this. You know, they're like trying to bring monster franchise.
And I do
back
like the fact, and we're
around the
going to
same
get to
time.
it. One of the actors is also kind of a weird underling henchman to the main baddie, and it's the same actor from The Mummy.
Huh?
Yes,
I thought so.
I deleted that out, but that is correct.
His voice sounded familiar.
Yes.
There was a lot of IMDb behind the scenes. I couldn't believe it. I really had to whittle it down.
That's actually just we're not even covering the movie. The entire episode is just behind the scenes.
just that, yeah. But that actor is friends with the director Stephen Sommers.
that
So
makes so much
that's
sense.
why.
And he was in
this.
Deep Rising. Oh, wow. I see what's happening.
Yeah.
Next one, not so bad. The One Name They All Fear. You kind of have to know who Van Helsing is, but if you do, it makes sense.
Okay. All right. It seems like more of like a wrestling kind of like, you know, like Van Helsing.
Oh, to me, I could see it more as like a Bloody Mary or Candyman or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Something where you say the name and they
Mm.
come for you.
Mm.
And then the last one, Adventure Lives Forever.
Mm.
It tells you
Okay.
it's an adventure movie,
Yeah.
and it's got the live forever thing with the vampire, but
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. fit
do
for
much.
me.
It doesn't move
Yeah.
the needle.
No,
Right.
that I feel like that would be outside of like Van Helsing the ride. You know what I mean? Where like the cheesiness factor to that. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Well, that'd be like one of those rides where you're just looking at a screen and the seats move around.
yes, yeah.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
be on horses and jump from broken bridge to broken bridge.
Nothing is faster than a Transylvania horse.
Oh man! All right, Movies are made by people. The people that made this movie are... Well, it was written and directed by Stephen Sommers. We've talked about him a little. The Mummy. What was the movie you said? Deep Rising? I don't know if I know
Deep Rising.
that
It's this like creature feature that takes place on a... Oh God, is it like... It's not a cruise ship, is it? Some kind of big ass boat. And creatures attack the boat and everybody on it. And it has Treat Williams. Is that the actor's name? I think it's Treat Williams.
That's an actor's name.
And the Phoenix. Jean Grey is in it.
Oh yeah.
She's got
I
a
totally
funny
forgot
name.
about that.
What's her name?
Jansen or something like that. I know she has a
Femke,
name I can't.
right?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
And they set it up for sequel, and it's no longer sea creatures. And then they're like on the island, but they never made a sequel to it. So I was kind of upset about that. But I enjoyed it.
You always remember those. I don't remember it.
Looks like we got to cover it now.
Yeah. Getting a list tonight.
Yeah, you have me sold on fish creatures, so it's like, all right.
Actors: Hugh Jackman,
No names.
Van Helsing.
You're probably not going to know anybody on this list.
Yeah. So we know him. What? He was Wolverine. He's
In everything.
Jean.
What was it?
Jean Valjean.
Movie 43. He had testicles on his chin.
On his chin.
Yeah, he did. It was a prosthetic
What
ball
is
sack.
that? Right.
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
That's a movie. I think it's like filled with stars, and it's like super screwball satire comedy.
It's all
type
just
of thing.
weird bits done by major celebrities. And
Okay.
most of it isn't funny. But
I've
Hugh
heard it's
Jackman
not
with a
good.
nutsack on his
One
chin,
person.
that made me laugh out loud.
Interesting. I'll write that down.
I see that's what you're doing.
We got Kate Beckinsale as Anna Valerius.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
She's fine.
Man.
Listen, when she popped out, said them curls are bouncing. Her makeup is eating. Yes, she looked good.
Oh
in
yeah,
this
no,
movie.
I know everybody thinks she's gorgeous. I get it.
Yeah.
I tell you, so you guys wouldn't necessarily know this, but I tend to have a blindness to like sort of what I think is generically pretty brunette women and probably blondes as well. I feel she has no distinctive features. I watch every movie twice for this podcast, and after my first watch, I didn't even know it was Kate Beckinsale because I would never be able to recognize her.
Fair.
Oh.
So I know I understand everyone else thinks she's gorgeous, and she's not pretty. She's just
Not
another
your thing.
face
Not
in
your
the
thing.
crowd.
Not even with like the buccaneer corset and like the weird blouse thing going. No, none.
She didn't do it for me. And the whole reason I thought of it was people in the Discord were thirsting for her, and I was like,
Okay.
She also looked like the jester from Puppet Master. I think that's how she was dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay. The colors. Yes.
No.
I didn't even
This
think
might be
of
a
that.
prequel to Puppet Master, so I'm just saying
Yes.
it's the origin story.
it does take place like 150 years beforehand.
Yes. And then just gets shrunk down.
Y'all are so rude. Oh my god.
That's the first thing I thought of. So,
It would explain why Blade walks around her like going.
Who else we got? We got Richard Roxburgh as Count Vladius Dracula.
Blah.
I didn't look at his IMDb, so I don't know if I know him from anything else, but nothing pops out. Michael, maybe you're thinking?
not that I know of.
Yeah. Schuler Hensley, Frankenstein's monster. David Wenham, Carl, his little sidekick. That guy was very familiar. I know I've seen him in things, but I'm not even going to click on his name.
Don't do it, Sam.
Will Kemp as the brother. Alina Anaya as Alira. Sylvia Kalaka as Verona. And Josie Moran as Marishka. Those are all Dracula's wives. And then I'll give us Kevin J. O'Connor as Igor. That's the guy we mentioned from The Mummy and Deep Rising. And plenty of others, but you'll have to look them up.
All the villagers.
Secrets. That's our key
Shuttle the Pod.
characters.
You do the work.
Now watch the movie and tell us about it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Let's check the clock to see the time.
It's time
Fatality.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the sadness, how gory is this movie? So we do our gore score. We do 1 to 5 for consistency, 1 to 5 for intensity. Whatever those two add together, that's what we give the score is. Ross and I can start off. It's really low, I think, like barely even there. I'm gonna give like a 1 for consistency and a 0.5 for intensity, maybe a 1.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give it a 1 for both.
That's so low.
Well, I'm always a lot lower, so let's hear yours.
Low. All right. I will respectfully
we do this every time.
Disagree on that one. Because albeit CGI, albeit CGI and not that great CGI, we have impalement, we have acid to the face, we have a full torso burning in a giant fireplace, walking out, melting.
Those were kind of the things I was thinking of, but they're all...
Yeah. Gashes and slashes and bites and rips.
I also thought about how I wouldn't be upset if my 5 and 2-year-old accidentally walked in while it was on, because I don't think it would bother them.
My daughter was in and out of the room while this was going on. Hence, albeit a little spooky.
The intensity being very low, even though the act itself is not.
I get where you're coming from. I would say consistency for a 2+ hour runtime. Yeah, I wouldn't go as low as a 1, but I'd probably say maybe about like a 2. Because I mean, like, it is there and it is pretty consistent throughout the movie while it's going, but there are some lull points. Intensity, I might have to agree with you on intensity though, because I mean, like, it is CGI, and like, I mean, I think when you write it on paper, it sounds way more intense than what you actually see in the movie. Like, if I told you a man is on fire, and then you actually see what you saw in the film, you're like, hey, I mean, yeah, but like on like MS Paint, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I will really say,
even though this is 2004, I don't think the CG whatever is that.
No, it's not
bad.
Super
really.
Good.
No,
I don't think it's good. But there's stuff coming out now that's not at this level.
Worse. Yeah. That's worse.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably say Gore meter. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to do a 2 and a 2. Not super crazy, but I do feel like even with CGI, some of the stuff you see does constitute a little more on the intensity. So I would say 4. Nothing below average.
Very.
Ooh.
Michael, Bobby.
I'll say this. No, I agree. I'll give that a 4.
Yeah.
2. My biggest problem, because at some moments in the movie, like the CGI looks really, really great, but then you have moments like at the end with the werewolf transformation. It was bothering me, like the cartoonish look.
Yeah,
it was just really. But then you had some really, really good stuff, like when the vampire bride's flying through the sky. Like, you could tell it was CG, but it wasn't as
it looks kind of cool.
Bad,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
it looks fine. Yeah, it's pretty dope. So I was here for it. The movie's definitely not that gory. It's PG-13.
Yeah. Yes.
Film. But the intensity, I can see it was almost going there. Like, I feel like if this was rated R, then those scenes would hit a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
But not. But yeah, I agree. 2, 4. That's just how I feel. Same thing. Yeah.
Well, as far as gore, I'm gonna give it a 1. To me, the scenes that stick out in my head are like the Dracula's wives being shot by stakes, and it's just like punctured holes. I see nothing happening when they're being shot. Werewolf bites feel like nothing, which is crazy to me.
Yes.
I expect to hear crunch, and I expect to see like gore for real. And so it's a 1. Intensity, I might also give that a 1. Actually, it's not high on the scale.
We're on the same page.
Okay,
there we go.
2 sides of the same coin.
Yes,
and now also the 2 pods are split.
Yes. Yeah. So all right. So between like a 2 and a 4. So
call it a 3.
A 3. Okay,
3.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's easy. I can do that math quick. All right. Next bit.
Who
We got 4 questions we're going to discuss before we do a couple more things and jump into the full spoiler territory. Starting with, what subgenres does it fall into? Monster movie? Universal monster movie?
Universal monster movie,
Frankenstein, Dracula, vampire,
a monster mash. If you're gonna have different kinds of monsters, you're gonna have so like ranging from, and obviously this one is like more of the classic end of that
sort of gothic.
Yeah.
Did they miss the opportunity to play Monster Mash during that whole vampire dinner scene later on?
It would have been.
If this came out today, they would do it, but in like a haunting choral sing.
Yeah.
If they would have played it though, it would have took me out. It would have took me out of the movie, low key.
What?
Just an operatic, like they did the
Yes.
Well, we do get that interesting opera ballroom.
Ooh, yeah, we do.
Scene, which we'll get to. I'm mixed on the music there. Hopefully I'll remember to talk about it. What kind of environment is best to watch this in? I'm gonna be honest. I think with friends making fun of it is the best environment to watch this.
Yeah,
agreed.
Like this is this is knocking at the door of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, where like you get a bunch of good friends, a bunch of movie heads that are totally cool with just interrupting and yelling at the screen the entire time, and just having a really good time watching just the chaos unfold.
Yeah,
I agree. I would put it on in the background if we're playing cards or something. And
totally.
Happen to peek over and see what's happening.
Yeah,
or a little party or something.
I don't think anybody's making this their like film master's thesis.
There might be that one person.
There could be that one person. There's one Van Helsing champion.
Yes.
What I will give this movie though is like the cinematography is pretty cool. Like I like the black and white scene in the beginning. How it was shot. Yeah. And then even a little after that, like how the movie shot is really, really cool. It seems like
it's
big
fun.
Movie,
it's cinematic for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Should you know anything about the movie before you see it? That it's chock full of CGI that is not all good
but not all bad.
It's more of an adventure movie.
Yeah.
Might be better for kids.
It is. This, I think, probably for like horror heads, I think the best kind of like pre-warning for this is that like this is the physical definition of a PG-13 horror movie. Like this isn't like it's an intense PG-13 or not a really dumbed down. Like this to me defines what a PG-13 horror movie is. You know what I mean? So like if you're expecting
the line.
If you're expecting something more like, because there are a lot of like,
I guess it's the line of the middle of PG-13 if you were to break it up.
Because like this isn't like right off the top of my head, like Drag Me to Hell. You know what I mean? Which is PG-13 technically, but like fucking intense. Like this is not even close to that. Like if you're waiting for like, well, it's only PG-13, but it could be pretty. It's like, no, this is.
It could be Disney Channel level to me. I just watched a Disney movie the other day for the first time, and I think it's about the same.
No. I'll give this movie much more credit than that.
Yeah, it's fun. It honestly, to me, felt like I see a lot of superhero movies doing a lot of the stuff we see in this, at least in the action sequences and the cinematography and stuff, not necessarily in the choices and storyline, but we'll get there. All right. Is it for beginners? Definitely. I don't know that it would get you
100%.
into horror. It might. There's enough of it. You might be like, I want to see more of that Dracula guy.
If you're between the ages of like 9 and 13, this movie could be an amazingly hilarious introduction to horror and would really get you into the classics. Like, I feel like this has got enough cheese on it that like at a super young age, like you'd be like, oh man, that was good. But what else is that?
Before you had taste and could critique anything, that'd be the best time to watch this one.
I feel like this is a gateway horror for somebody. For some kid out there, this was a gateway horror for them.
It could be.
I know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would say do this as a double feature. Do this first and then watch Bram Stoker's Dracula. And if you really want to traumatize them, then just put Nosferatu on after that. And just do a triple. Just get it all out the way.
And the crazy thing is, I just watched the new Nosferatu yesterday, and then jumping into this, and I'm like, this fucking Dracula sucks, man. Like, I don't like him. Coming off of that, and then going into this, I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a totally different,
Yeah. And I was watching this with my partner, and he thought the Dracula here was Russell Edgerton from True Blood because he vampire on there. He had some similarities as far as how he looks, but Russell Edgerton did a far better job in being the scary ass vampire in that TV show. So,
well, again, he's not the villain. Remember that when we talk about he's not the villain of the movie. So he does
right. He's the hero, of course. Yeah. He's just trying to raise a family.
Yeah.
Just get rid of these little descendants real quick, and then bring my kids back. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah, it was a lot.
All right, the Chuddle Harbinger of Doom, fapping his way in to give us some warnings. Any trigger warnings on this one? I'm not sure. I can't think of anything.
I mean, shy of non-consensual gassing and unconsciousness during one scene.
Sure.
I think that's it. I mean, even the animal cruelty. I mean, there's a cow.
Maybe some flashing lights.
But the cow's fine. I'm just letting everyone know the cow is fine.
I don't know. That was a pretty big slam into the. That was aggressive.
There is like minimal strobing with some of the lightning scenes and the laboratory scenes, but nothing like super crazy or intense.
Yeah, it's a very tame movie. Nothing to worry about.
It really is.
I mean, Dracula's kissing his relative at some point in this, but other than that, that was probably okay back then, right? I don't know. So.
Just like
vampire.
There's some light incest, but
okay, moving on.
Wait, we talked about drops earlier. That might, all right, go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, buckle up.
Oh.
Spoiler zone.
Starting with IMDb behind the scenes. These are all up front again. And God, I whittled it down, but there's still a lot I kept apparently. So let's go.
All right, let's do this.
Stephen Sommers deliberately chose to avoid the style of transformations from other werewolf films where the characters would usually grow hair as part of the change. Instead, the decision was made to have the character rip his skin off to reveal the werewolf form underneath, going with the idea that the beast comes from within.
Not super. Okay. I think the execution was kind of bleh, but I'm not mad about that decision because I feel that when in Trick or Treat during the werewolf scene in that's the same concept just done much fucking better. I like the idea of it is pretty cool. I think the execute obviously because everything's CGI, it kind of just made them look like they were taking off like a shirt.
Like now an animated movie.
All right, time to make the donuts.
I agree though. I like the idea of ripping the skin off, and then when he's transforming back into a human, ripping that layer off. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big
applied that
werewolf
creativity
fan.
Elsewhere. Sorry, go ahead.
No, look, I'm a huge werewolf fan, so it was kind of bothering me. It was pretty cool to see. I don't know. I guess you have to do it quickly, especially that battle at the end. They were just transforming back and forth. I guess you have to be quick about it. But
Bobby, that's such a good point. I wonder if they got through the script where they're like, all right, so Hugh Jackman's going to turn to a werewolf, not a werewolf, to a werewolf, not a werewolf, within about a 15-minute sequence. How do we pull that off? And he goes, what if he just does a costume change? What do you mean? What if the costume is just his skin? So he just has to just rip it off real quick and then rip the other one off real quick.
Oh,
quick change. All right. The place where Van Helsing and Anna fight Dracula's three brides is the same place where Frankenstein 1931, Dracula 1931, and The Wolfman 1941 were filmed. The set is called the Court of Miracles, and it's part of the studio tour at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Wow.
Ooh, that's cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's all.
My
that's cool.
my love for this movie just perked up by 1%. I was like, that's that happened? Okay.
During filming, Hugh Jackman accidentally broke an extra's hand. Whoopsies. I don't have any more info on that.
That's it?
Yeah.
There's what if he just gave him a high five?
Because he's so strong.
I mean, this is a huge jacked man we're talking about.
That is true. The film was intended to start a series of Van Helsing adventure movies. However, the reviews were bad and the box office returns were far below expectations. All plans for a sequel were dropped within several days of the film's opening.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there was only the mummy left. How many more monsters did he not kill in this movie?
True.
He wiped out a lot.
For some reason, I thought this movie was much bigger. Though. I remember seeing like the promo and things like that when I was younger.
They advertised it.
It was
heavy.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The North American DVD sales were 65 million in the first week, more than half the revenue from theater runs.
Oh wow. I wonder if it like got a little more interest in I mean, obviously we never saw a sequel.
No, I don't
But
think
65
so.
million's a lot
They
for
were
DVD
planning
sales.
on doing a TV show spin-off series, Transylvania.
What?
I'm pretty sure I cut it out. The set they built for Transylvania, they built with the intent to reuse for a TV show, and it just bombed so poorly that like everything they planned on doing.
Vampire Diaries, they ruined it. I don't know how.
I don't know.
It's their fault.
They had something to do with it.
Well, Vampire Diaries came out like what in 08?
It doesn't have to make sense.
Because you're always blaming it on that show. You blame everything on that show.
Maybe everything is Vampire Diaries' fault.
Yes, everything.
Dr. Frankenstein's lab was equipped with antique medical equipment purchased on eBay. Me,
Van Helsing,
seriously.
powered by eBay.
while preparing for the movies, are big budget movies, are just like us.
They're just like us. We buy everything on
We
eBay.
buy things on eBay. While
Including
preparing
weird
for the
medical stuff.
ballroom scene, Stephen Sommers had Richard Roxburgh, Kate Beckinsale. Oh, I meant to delete this. This is so dumb. Had them practice dancing for several hours so their performance would be flawless.
Just,
Are you serious?
He had them rehearse is basically what this is.
I'm just picturing him like in a very weird leather chair and just smoking a cigarette, going like, "I need you to dance for me. How long? For a few hours, until I say so.
Until it's perfect." This is the first movie other than the Lord of the Ring films to use the massive software developed for the Lord of the Ring films.
Oh, so this is like the beta testing for Lord of the Rings.
No. Lord of the Rings made the technology, made their own movies. Nobody else made a movie using Lord of the Rings technology until Van Helsing. It was the first movie to adopt.
So I'm assuming
Lord of the
whoever
Rings.
used Van Helsing didn't know the program very well.
Well, I think it explains why some stuff looks good and some doesn't. Maybe, it wasn't designed for everything.
Guys just flipping through an order and you go like, what the fuck? Okay, all right, you know what?
That might be what Ross said. It's increasing in points the more you're telling me these facts.
When Van Helsing, Carl, and Anna find Castle Dracula, Carl looks at what seems to be skeletons impaled on spikes. This is a reference to Vlad the Impaler, who Bram Stoker based Dracula on.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman had hair extensions added for the filming.
Knew it.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael, didn't mean to make you choke there. I didn't realize you were taking a sip as we talked about that before.
Because I forgot that we were mentioning that. So when it came back,
I famously cannot spot a wig. I had no
Hugh.
idea.
I can tell because the hair barely moved. Like, every time when he got into some major battles, it was just always laid. It wasn't like crazy.
The wind
like,
wasn't rocking it.
It was, It's just like every time he got into a fight, I'm sure hair and makeup came over and like combed it down and whatever. Real good.
Yeah.
And then
they had
continue
Garnier
action.
Fructis back then, Bobby. It's fine.
While the film is an homage to the 1930s and 40s Universal horror films, the inclusion of Mr. Hyde is an oddity, as he was never found in any of the Universal monster roster. Instead, the film based on Hyde during that time was made by Universal's rival, MGM. However, Universal did get the rights when they did Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So it's just I
like
didn't
that
think
Abbott and
about
Costello
it, but it is not
caused
a
them to
universal
get the rights.
I don't think of them as a universal monster, even though I guess Abbott and Costello meet him or him.
Yeah.
Them?
Was this
Is it
before or
two
after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
After, so I deleted a bunch of stuff out about that. A lot of people hated both of these movies at that time because they had a similar style and were full of CGI and even had some similar plot things, including apparently they fight Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in
Hyde is a
Extraordinarily
big
Gentleman. So I have not seen that one either.
Really?
No.
You missed both of the Monster Mash boats.
Well, this was we'll get to it soon with history, but I was very anti-CG at the time.
I can understand that.
Cans delivering the film to theaters were labeled the Vatican Detective, which really it cracks me up. It's so silly. It seems
The
like
Vatican Detective.
Yeah, it either seems like
that sounds like a Pink Panther
comedy,
movie.
yeah, or like a Dan Brown novel, like a Da Vinci Code thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first feature to use a full-blown cable cam setup. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but we kind of talked about the cinematography, and I'm sure it has something to do with how the camera moves around in cool ways.
I'm assuming the camera's on the cable and flying through the air. I don't know.
Yeah, I think of it
like
in
stabilizers
football,
or something.
On the football field, they have
It's
like
the
a
first
camera.
one?
I think it has like a wire in each four corners and can kind of move around above the field. Maybe like that. Maybe it was just on a fishing line and they swung it around.
So this movie is an innovator on top of everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a
I wanted
trendsetter.
to. If I could give it credit in some ways, I wanted to. So I included those things. Although Kate Beckinsale's character carries a sword, she never uses it. So I guess I also wanted to comment on how this movie kind of sucks.
You didn't even notice that.
You would figure that they'd have a lot more silver dipped and silver knives and weaponry if you lived in.
Why don't you keep your sheath just like oiled in holy water? So every time you pulled out your
I
weapon,
would look
it was
like I
covered.
I came out of a kiddie pool every time I left the house by dousing myself in just holy water all the time. Are you kidding me?
Ironically, because of his commitments to filming this movie full of famous Universal monsters, Hugh Jackman was unable to play the title role in The Phantom of the Opera 2004, which is considered the first classic Universal Studios monster movie. Although I'm pretty sure they were doing the musical, so not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Although
but
I
he
would have
still
loved
got-
to see him in that.
Yeah, I mean, he hopped into Les Mis and a few other, The Greatest Showman and stuff like that. So he had
and
those
he's done
like the singing
Broadway.
chops. Yeah, he's done Broadway, so he had the singing chops.
I think I may have kept it in here. Yeah, it's coming up. I'll just skip to it. Steven Sommers wanted to cast Hugh Jackman in the lead after seeing his performance in Oklahoma on Broadway. Although the roles couldn't be more different, Sommers immediately recognized that Jackman had the charisma for the role of Van Helsing, which I kind of included that because I'm not sure that's right. I mean, he saw Wolverine and didn't want him to be Van Helsing, but then he saw him as like Curly in Oklahoma and was like, "That's my Van Helsing." Maybe
Oklahoma
maybe he had
was the tipping point.
The hair extensions in.
That's what I was getting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
I've never seen Oklahoma, so I have no clue what
Honestly,
Right.
neither have I.
Honestly, I kind of haven't either. I was in it in high school, and we also.
What do you mean you haven't seen it when you were in it?
Well, I didn't watch it. This was like, I went to a performing arts high school. And so this was, well, no, I guess it was junior year because thinking about other people in the play. But anyway, I was at the point where if I didn't watch the scenes I wasn't in. And at the time, I wasn't like really into musicals. And we even had to write reports on plays. And I hadn't read the play. So I had to ask my friend who was starring the lead in the show. I was like, what's this about? Because I need to write something up real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Is there any video of this play of Oklahoma that you were in? Because I would love to see this.
There was a VHS tape that
I'm gonna
guy
find
made
it
for
now.
all the students. I don't know what happened to those
So
now.
like when the day came and you heard the songs, you're like, oh, this is kind of good. Never heard this song before.
In a way, you're there for rehearsal sometimes when you're all there in theater. But I had, I think I might have had multiple roles, but some of the few non-singing, non-dancing roles in the show because I didn't quite have those talents. And So I wasn't around for when they were rehearsing before actually putting it on stage. I missed all that, which happened a lot.
Do you know what I love about this podcast is that when
Learn something
right when we
time.
logged in, when we logged out for Van Helsing, I had no idea I was going to get into a 10 to 15 minute conversation about Oklahoma. Like this is the beauty of this podcast.
I always fucking hammed it up too. Anytime I was in a musical that because it wasn't until senior year that I actually got to be in the chorus. Like dancing around in the background.
I am going to directly ask your mom if she has any of these VHS.
Oh no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't.
She wouldn't.
No,
with the high school.
Doubtful, but the person I would have a way of sourcing it. My friend who I went out for his 40th birthday in California, his dad was the head of the theater department and was the one that made those videotapes. So if anybody knows how or if they exist,
Patreon exclusive.
I would love to see it
in Oklahoma.
Yes.
I guess I don't know. I don't remember what I do. I'm like a sheriff, and I walk out and kind of say some things and leave. But whatever I was doing, I was definitely going for laughs because that's what I was going to say. In all these musicals I was in, I was in West Side Story, and I had like every part that was a non-singing, non-dancing part I filled. And
oh wow,
boy, did I play those up for laughs. That I would like to see. All right. Enough. We're not here to talk about my musical
I need to see
theater
this.
history.
I'm serious.
I'll get you guys a copy.
Yes, please.
This movie surpassed Interview with the Vampire as the highest grossing vampire movie until Twilight came out. So I'm guessing that must include the back end with the DVD sales.
The DVD sales?
Or
which is still
IMDb
trivia to me.
Kind of Wikipedia, It's not always right.
Yeah, this makes it, that made me feel weird that this movie
did that well. I was like, I guess people went
Interview
to
with a
see
Vampire.
Okay.
I would have wanted Blade to have been the one that it
right.
needed to beat, because Blade came out in between those, and
that's right.
One of the best. Might be my favorite. Well, that's for another day. I'm not going to tell you my favorite vampire movie right now.
Talk about the worst CGI.
Yeah, but that movie fucking.
Oh, it's so good. It makes up for
it.
Yeah.
The Netherlands audience awarded Van Helsing with the TV Krant Filmposter Award of 2004. It was basically like a Razzie in the Netherlands.
Oh.
Which normally I'm not
the best
for.
of the worst.
Leta Kalogridis and Patrick Lucier wrote a draft of the script. There was a different draft that had every single one. It also had Bride of Frankenstein, Gilman, a few others.
Wow.
I would have loved to have seen a Gilman in this style.
Oh,
it would have looked so weird and awesome.
They might as well have done it. They
Why
had
not?
so many. It was already long, so just
Right.
Just give us the extra hour and throw the other ones in.
Throughout the movie, it is implied that I don't even fucking get this. It is implied that Van Helsing is the Archangel Gabriel. Obviously, that's his name, but he also mentions fighting the Romans at Masada, and his friends that was 73 AD. He also, Dracula says that he was killed by the left hand of God, and then later he's referred to as left hand of God. This is written very poorly, but when I watched it after I read this trivia bit, it is in there. I think that is subtext if you're looking for it. I guess it's probably obvious.
Was it kind of like the Wolverine thing? Was he accidentally shot in the head and then healed, and then he just memory wiped himself so he doesn't know he's Gabriel?
So paint by numbers with the action adventure story. He is Wolverine in this. Oh, I don't know my history. I'm gonna go find out.
Oh, it's true.
Ridiculous. And then there's all the stuff that's like James Bond, and then
the
monastery and the
God
gadgets
damn it.
and
yeah, it's Q. It's you're literally he's just, and then they even just I want that machine gun. No.
I'm gonna do 2 more here. Skip the rest so we can start talking about this thing. Richard Roxburgh, the guy who played Dracula, Sylvia Coloca, who played Verona, one of the brides, married in real life, and they met on this movie and married the next year.
Oh,
wow.
I always like
Okay.
those falling in love on set stories.
Yeah.
One of the last
like to
shots
hear it.
in which Van Helsing transformed back into a human from a werewolf was originally to be a nude scene. However, Stephen Sommers felt it would be too distracting for the viewer if they saw Hugh Jackman's buns and disrupt the emotion of Anna's death.
What?
So they CGI'd a loincloth over his butt.
Bullshit.
Seen it.
Bullshit.
Man.
We deserve as an audience after 2 hours and 15 minutes some Hugh Jackman man hams.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Give it
That's
to me.
worst
Yes.
choice.
We demand
That was the
man
worst.
hams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know how that upped the other facts you gave me up this movie?
This brought it
that
back
one
down.
decreased it down. Because like, whatever, man.
I didn't know that was CGI. I thought it was just a.
Well, I looked for
that
it
was
this
good.
time. So at when he first like goes back human and jumps down, I was like,
Mhm.
well, that fact has to be bullshit. They didn't do a full frontal jumping off a like bridge or something, but it also looked real. It's the second time when he does it after he kills her and he transforms as he's holding her.
Mm.
It still looks real enough, and it would only be for like a second anyway
split
before
second.
the camera moves. But if you know, you can tell. Rob
Do
to
they
that
have to
ass.
edit? Do they have to edit out all the werewolf dong then? Because like, okay, these things are like actually nude. Like,
We
do we have to
talked about this. Where are the werewolf dicks?
Yeah,
We
that's
were
what I'm
just
talking
talking about that on our
Ripped.
podcast because we did Werewolf Month last
Oh, okay.
month.
See,
And
I
we
was-
talked about that. Where does it go?
Well,
You
I
did
was just
werewolves?
always-
How did I miss that?
I was just always under the assumption, kind of like dogs, where it's just like the lipstick comes out, you know, like they're growers, not
yes, that's
showers.
what we-
You know what I mean? Which is weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the conversation you had.
Yes.
Bobby seems very pleased. All right. Who picked it?
Gross.
Why? History. This was a patron suggestion. I forget exactly how we landed on it, but I was fine with it because I hadn't seen it before. I had not seen it before because when this came out, I was like 17 or 18, really deep into horror, and this was represented everything wrong to me. You know, I was real angsty and felt everything and was way
mainstream,
more
man.
passionate and gatekeepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was bullshit. It was PG-13. It was full of CGI garbage. I'm not fucking seeing this thing. So that was my history and then I kind of forgot about it. And now we're here.
Here we are.
Yes.
Ross?
I had the same stance, same amount of angst, just a little older. And then I think my dad rented this. He didn't buy it, but I think he rented it on DVD. And I immediately regretted not seeing this in the theater because I think it was the cinematography and how it was shot. Where I was like, if I had actually, maybe that is something the viewers should know is like this film feels like it's intended to be seen on a massive screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so
It's an
like
event.
totally. So like watching it at home where I'm like, okay, like this is a little Lindbergh cheesy, like, you know what I mean? Like this is like crazy, but then I'm like really kicking myself in the ass where I'm like, God, I would have loved to have even just the experience of seeing this in the theater and then completely wiped it from my memory for 20 something years. And then was happy
Here we
enough
are.
to rewatch it. And here we are. We're at this bus stop.
Yeah. I worked at the movie theater around this time, so I'm assuming I just
Me
kind
too.
of dipped in and watched it.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, I don't have to pay for this.
Yeah, that's true.
What did you work at a chain?
I worked at Regal in on Long Island, New York.
I worked at
Oh,
an
awesome.
AMC. That's Brian, who's not here. He and I met working at an AMC in around this time.
Oh, cool.
Movies bringing people together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that movie theater is closed, and I go to Regal.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Bobby, had you seen this before?
Yes, I seen this around the time it came out. I wished I seen this in theaters, but I didn't. I watched it on DVD as well. And You know, like I was saying, I wish I seen this on the big screen, but didn't happen because it looked like it was made for that. But I think that was the first and last time I watched this movie. So it's been 20 plus years as well.
Yeah.
I was saying this to Mike. I was like, I don't know when the last time I seen this movie. And it probably was when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, one of those. So, and I'm in my 30s now. So that says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave you guys options of like what we were going to be doing upcoming, and you picked this. And then when I first started it, I was like, have they seen this? I hope they don't love this movie. This is going to be... So I'm glad we're kind of all on the same page.
We have had a mishap.
I mean, it is fun.
Before.
Yeah,
we reviewed a movie with another podcast, and Bobby and we completely imagined a completely different, amazing scene. We got there, and they just were like, "What the fuck did you have?" The scene was not good at all. I don't know where we thought this is an amazing chase scene. She was running and dodging and throwing. None of that happened.
Yeah, the movie was Prom Night, the remake. And
okay.
Yeah, you say you haven't seen it?
No, not the remake.
Yeah, don't watch it. You don't have to. But there's a chasing in there that me and Mike swore was like really, really good. And then when we finally watched it for this podcast, we felt embarrassed.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Because it wasn't all of that. I was like, what the fuck are we thinking, man? That was crazy.
Isn't it funny sometimes with like the worst of the worst movies where you're like you're like, no, but there's this one, at least it has this one redeemable scene. And then sometimes when you revisit it, you're like, no. I mean, I guess it's better than the rest
like when
of
we
it.
did Murder Party, Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
No.
Terrible.
No.
You don't need to.
Okay. Is it like a cheesy, campy type of movie?
It's like a indie.
Oh, sounds like Clue.
Yeah, it's got like
It's like somebody just graduated film school and decided to make a indie horror movie making fun of like
pretentious art
college kids. Yeah.
Okay.
They're good. They capture a guy because they're gonna kill him. They're having a murder party because they're all like artists under the direction of like one guy who's leading them.
Okay.
And
I'll watch a YouTube video or something.
It's low.
Yeah.
See what it is.
I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it is.
It's not great.
Not good. Speaking of the worst thing ever, I'm so sorry. I did not have time to take full notes for this. I've basically been trying to use IMDb to supplement stuff, and I did not check IMDb, and IMDb's was horrible. Absolutely terrible. Not even usable.
So this is going to be kind of like a choose your own adventure synopsis.
Well, so then I went to something that I'm very conflicted about. I went to ChatGPT.
We used a robot?
I did. And that gave
but there's no robots in Van Helsing,
much
man.
better job. So ChatGPT isn't always correct, and I haven't gone through the whole thing. I just stuck in some of my own notes that I had, what I did have in there.
I think it's kind of
so we might need to
appropriate.
correct things as we go. That's all.
That's fine. But I think it's I think it's kind of appropriate that a robot did the synopsis with the amount of CGI in this movie.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So like, I feel it's kind of just on brand for what we watched.
I'm not stealing anything here. I'm saving myself from work, not stealing anybody else's work.
You made things so much easier for yourself and for everybody here. So yes, thank you.
And I think out of all movies, I think we could probably do that with Van Helsing.
Well, we've been shitting on this a lot, but I actually had a fun time with this. Well, we'll go.
It's one of those like I got lots of feels for this movie. Like this is almost, maybe not almost. It's that like so bad it's good. Like it's just that but
usually those are low budget movies for me. So it's weird having.
Oh,
one
there are
like
some
this.
There's some big house flops that I love to hate.
Are there?
You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
You got any examples?
No, off the top of my head.
That's fair. If you think of one, text.
Oh
me.
no, sorry, I do. Van Helsing.
All right, so we'll start. I got a few one note of my own to start. The Universal logo turns black and white and then lights on fire, which transitions into a torch. I thought that was
dope,
very
dope,
cool.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
This whole black and white sequence is fucking awesome.
Yes.
It's great.
Chachi, and then I say immediate black and white melodrama, which it is. It is high melodrama. You know, they are going for the fences. Leaving my notes.
Do they have a version of this? I wonder if they have a full black and white version of this movie. Like,
I hope
like
so.
the DVD.
Ooh, this would probably that would be like
look a lot
Easter
better.
eggs.
Yeah,
It
I'm
actually
looking it up
would
right
look
now.
a lot better. I would think it would look a lot better.
another movie that did something like that was The Mist. They have a Blu-ray, or I think it's just a Blu-ray, where the full movie is in black and white, and it makes the whole entire movie look a lot better. And even though I love the regular Mist and how it was presented in theaters, but when you watch it in black and white, it looks so much more creepier. So
it feels a little more disturbing in black and white, almost like this is another time here, which I guess this is.
So, so apparently a lot of people had the same opinion, because there isn't an official black and white version of Van Helsing, but fans have made black and white versions of the entire film.
Oh,
So they are online, but they're not official, which I'm like, I kind of like that even more.
Mm-hmm.
That's
cool.
They need to do that. However, the gay in me does enjoy Dracula's wives' colors, aspect, the hair, the eyeballs, the outfits.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Because it
especially like
pops more.
the gowns. Like one of them's got like like I Dream of Jeannie vibes going on.
Yeah. Oh man, definitely.
And it's just so cool, like how like when they come from like the bat creature and then they come back to their regular selves, it's like the gown is like molded into the skin, but then it comes out. Like it's just really dope how they did that.
Absolutely, I agree. It was one of the few things I'll
Like
give
the
it credit
wings.
for in that.
Yeah.
Actually, some of the character design's not that bad. Well, we'll get into it. All right. In a black and white prologue, Dr. Victor Frankenstein brings his monster to life using lightning. Count Dracula, who secretly funded Frankenstein's experiments, arrives to claim the venture for his own purposes.
All right, can we just for a second? Dracula's look. I feel like he's the front man of an early 2000s like emo screamcore band, like with the pat and this over. Well, just also the strands of. Hold on, I can pull it up. He's got this one. He's got this one strand of hair across his face that he always has to tuck underneath his ear. You know what I mean? Like
Creed.
Yes,
wait, is that 90s or
that's
2000s?
the more what I picture him as. Yeah. Like a butt rocker.
Which is a good band, y'all. I don't care what y'all say. Creed is a good band.
No, a lot of people are saying that these days. That's fine. People are entitled to their own opinions. Dracula's brides, Verona, Alira, and Marischka, watch as their master betrays Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein refuses to hand over the monster, prompting Dracula to kill him. The monster, distraught over his creator's death, escapes the castle and flees to an old windmill.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like you've been alive for what, like fucking 3.5 minutes, and you just saw your dad get killed right in front of you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd be pissed.
Tough. Yeah, he does call him dad.
Yeah,
or father.
Well, he also knocks the sequence where he just like backhands or throws that like whatever it was at Dracula into the fireplace. I was just like, oh, okay, sweet.
Yes, I'm not sure what we're going to skip or miss as we go through everything, so feel free to, fill in the details as we go through.
Yeah.
Why can't Frankenstein's monster fight him? I don't understand what he's supposed to be so strong and invincible, allegedly. So I'm like, why? He's not even really fighting Dracula at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. It was more just kind of like a recover dad and run.
Maybe he thought he took care of him. Didn't know that he was Dracula when he threw him into the fireplace.
Just some random face.
I also like that, what is it? Igor in this one, where like he kind of like he also is a double agent, just like in The Mummy, and immediately at the first sign of shit going down, hauls ass in a secret passageway and is just out from like the What I'm also utterly confused though, where he screams his name, where it was like he just goes, what does he say? He goes, Frankenstein, or like master or something like that, and that like causes the entire mob to turn around, like slow head turn around, like what? Oh, over there! Like, aren't you supposed to be like recovering Frankenstein's body for this like nefarious thing to like not just send a horde after him?
This movie's not smart.
No, logic is not the game in Van Helsing.
No.
As an angry mob arrives and sets the windmill ablaze, the monster seemingly perishes in the flames. Also, I guess this windmill was full of explosives.
Just full of booze. The amount of booze bottles he breaks while like up this, and just everywhere, like it's scattered throughout. He's creating full of liquor.
Dr. Frankenstein was also, I guess, doing that on the side. And this is
chugging
when
some absinthe.
Frankenstein lets out what I thought was a very funny word.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It made every single person in the mob go, what?
He's got some lines. That delivery, that's very
totally
interesting. They all do. Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I kind of like Frankenstein's design in this movie, like how his head's put together and the green ball on his chest. And
I like the
that.
brain
The
version of like a glass bottom boat. You know what I mean? Because you can just see all the bits working. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of Frankenberry cereal. I don't know if you guys have had that before.
Oh my God, yes.
Not Frankenberry cereal.
I now need to Photoshop this Frankenstein hot ass pink.
Dracula and his brides watch from a distance, pleased but still missing their prize.
Okay.
And this jumps forward 1 year later.
I'm sorry, just to get back to Frankenstein and hot pink, that should be a Chuddle shirt, just letting you know. It's in the Van Helsing font, just Chuddle the Pod, and then just Frankenstein as Frankenberry.
Is that something you want?
I would buy it myself. I think it would probably be the only shirt sale, but it would be my own.
Hey, make it. You can do that. You can make that happen.
I have the power to do that.
Go for it.
Van Helsing, a monster hunter employed by the Vatican, pursues Mr. Hyde inside the Notre Dame Cathedral. Hyde, the monstrous form of Dr. Jekyll, mocks Van Helsing, calling him a murderer. After an intense fight, Van Helsing kills Hyde by throwing him off the cathedral, reverting his corpse back into the form of Dr. Jekyll, making it seem as if Van Helsing has just murdered an ordinary man. I do like when he's hiding in the bell before that and pulls out his little saw things.
Ooh, yeah.
He
lobs his arm off.
Cuts his arm off. Yeah.
I like that the arm, after it gets completely dismembered, turns into Jekyll's.
Into like a regular,
Oh, that one was super cool. Although for a split second, because we're in like the Universal Monsters mythos, especially like that time, it was weird to me that they picked Notre Dame, because like there's also the classic Universal monster movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So when I saw that like Hyde lurching up there, I was like, did they do The Hunchback? Is that like the intro? That's such a weird deep cut to do. And then nope, they didn't even do a Universal monster. It's just something they bought afterwards.
Also when Van Helsing gets tossed or falls off whatever the top, and he shoots his grappling hook out and it goes through
his torso.
Mr. Hyde. And that's how he's able to stop himself, but then he like tries pulling him down but gets tossed over and they twist
the other side
and break through the window.
You're like, no, don't do it.
I would say I was entertained by the action scene. Well, I would say in the first half of the movie, I was entertained by the action scenes.
It's got that.
Even though this took place 1 year later, so I mean, I like, of course, we all like the black and white scene, but like, why did we transition back to like it was just a year later? Like usually when you watch movies, when they do like black and white scenes and go to color, like there's a far gap, depends on if it's a period. So it was kind of strange how they did that.
It wasn't like 100 years later. It was
It was a year later.
2.5 weeks later.
The outfit
The next
day.
Whatever.
Rose color.
Yes. I do like the fact that Van Helsing in this movie also has a Batman grappling gun.
Yes.
I like
That's what he was given with his gadgets and shit. So I was just like, okay, I'm here for it.
It's like a smidge, not even a smidge, because in my head I think it's like a smidge of steampunk, but it is like it's a double scoop of steampunk in this. But it's at least like in the background enough that I didn't feel like it was the driving force.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Van Helsing. Excuse me.
Are you getting emotional?
Mm-hmm. Choking up.
It's okay, Sam.
It's okay, Sam. You can say his name.
Van Helsing. Van Helsing returns to Vatican City, where he is debriefed by Cardinal Ginette. The Cardinal gives him a new mission: travel to Transylvania to stop Dracula and assist the last surviving members of the Valerius family. Where we learn he's old and has been working for this secret group, the Order. It's like
for a minute,
priests or some sort of.
Well, that's what I
thing. Yeah, because
that's what I really enjoy about this underground kind of like, for a better choice of words, like the MI6 kind of like James Bond version, is that like it took me my second viewing to realize it, but like you have literally almost every denomination and faith represented in this subterranean thing, and like all different cultures and creeds, which it was like, and they're all just working just to fucking destroy monsters. And I was like, that's cool as shit.
I didn't
really
even think
like
about it. I've noticed and didn't think about it because somebody says something about like blessed be Allah or something like that.
Yeah, after the nitro, I think it's like after the nitroglycerin gets thrown across the fucking
and
so it's inclusive.
Yes,
this movie it's breaking down very.
That's what it's known for, I think, right?
Yeah.
Van Helsing visits Carl, a friar.
He should have gotten the Gatling gun. I'm just saying, this movie would have been completely different if he got like.
How's he going to bring it anyway? All I would have been thinking the whole time was how to get this here.
Redfield can hold a Gatling gun.
How about
can carry it?
We're talking about a huge jacked man, okay? So like this again, our suspenders of disbelief. Honestly, I would have much rather have had a Gatling gun, much like Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn. And just laid waste to the entire. Could you imagine that the ballroom scene? Completely different.
Oh yeah.
He busts the door open with it. It just mows them.
That would have been better. Much better.
Yeah, I want that cut. Give me the Gatling cut.
Van Helsing visits Carl, a friar and weapons expert, who provides him with new gadgets, including a gas-powered crossbow and something that he's not sure what it does. He's like, it makes big sunbursts and can like maybe fry some buffalo.
Something. Yeah. Yes. He was like, I'm not really 100% sure.
It is funny because he's explaining what a vampire. He's like, you've never come across a vampire before, so he doesn't really know what kills them. He's just guessing at this point.
He's like, I read books.
He's definitely like a comedic relief character. Van Helsing tells him, well, guess what? I'm not doing this next mission alone. You're coming with me. You're ordered to do it. Keep me alive as long as possible.
But I'm not a field agent.
Mm-hmm. And
although I like the fact that he's just a friar, so he could actually swear. Damn it.
Yes. There's a weird thing that happens with that later. Him just being a friar.
Yeah.
ChatGPT definitely got this wrong because it says Carl insists on accompanying Van Helsing despite his lack of field experience.
That maybe that was in his heart. You know, maybe that's what he was like. He just needed the push for Van Helsing, but he really did want to go. It's more of like a buddy cop thing, you know?
Oh, there we go. Van Helsing and Carl arrive in a remote Transylvanian village. This is after we get a big epic traveling montage where they're like riding horses across mountains, and it goes on for a little bit. I'm like, you definitely could have saved some time here.
Yeah, cut some time off for that.
But they probably spent a lot on it.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. It was probably just Hugh Jackman goes, okay, it's in my contract. You need to film me for at least 20 minutes on a horse.
I'm curious. I want to go back and see because I didn't really notice what was taking up so much time. So I kind of want to go back and see what shots.
Yeah, like what's the filler
need.
killer here?
Because this could have been an hour and a half, maybe even less.
Easy.
So I'm really curious.
100%.
This made for TV movie cut to 49 minutes precisely with commercials.
The townspeople are wary of them. Anna Valerius, a fierce warrior, is introduced. She distrusts Van Helsing, but is desperate to defeat Dracula. She's like standing in the middle of town square on, I don't know, a platform, a stage.
Well, she's on like the edge of the well. That like
and she steps onto wooden blocks because you see her feet step onto them, and they make a distinct clunking as well. Maybe it's like a covered well. But
I stand over you. Even though I'm being hunted by creatures, I must make myself look different from everyone else.
And it's that classic too, like he puts the crossbow thing up and then she's like, what? And then all of a sudden just like, wah!
They're behind her. Dracula's brides come flying in. Van Helsing and Anna engage in a high-stakes battle using crossbows and explosives.
This fight sequence with all three of them is just so all over it's so disjointed. I actually enjoyed it because I felt like this got shot 3 separate times over the course of 6 months. Like when they had a chance to let's go back to that fight scene. All right, so we're just gonna throw you against things for 20 minutes and then we're just gonna cut in whichever makes sense.
I do.
Although I felt bad for the cow.
I can see that.
I laughed so hard both times with the cow because there's one cow. There's no cows. It's not 2, 3 a cattle. It's a single cow just standing there.
Cow.
He goes out of his way to dive in front of it just right before the bride comes to catch him. Somehow misses him, picks up the cow and throws the cow through a building.
I'm like, well, now what the cow do, man?
That's what I'm saying.
It's just chilling.
It's also just like a really weird concept where they can get you when it's overcast. You know what I mean? Like there's still tons of, this shit is clearly in daylight. And then they're like, no, but there's a cloud up there. So they can just murder everyone.
Yeah, the rules are confusing. It seems to me like they might be strong. Yeah, I don't know.
Because they all retreat after the sun actually comes out.
Do they? I don't even remember.
Yeah. So the sun comes out and they all dive in the well.
That's true. And then they pop back out when it was hitting again.
Which is
this
movie.
It's just so weird. Yeah,
it's still light outside just because the sun is hiding behind some clouds. Like it's still pretty.
It's still bright.
That reminds me.
Yeah, it's still pretty bright.
The scene later on with the werewolf, like the full moon is out, but because
it gets covered,
back to human.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be physically out. That's so stupid. I hate that.
I love also in this sequence where they wind up because he winds up murdering one of the brides, right?
And then you would think arrows in holy water, right?
Holy water, and that light up scene was pretty good. The death was so fucking funny because it's just a green screened face on top of just and you can tell where it's sliding, and then someone moved the cursor up a little bit to put it back in place, and then it's but the concept of murdering one of them and then they go we did a great job and then turning around to an entire village going, what the fuck did you just do? We're cool with them murking 1 or 2 of us a fucking month, but now we're all dead. You're an asshole and you should leave town.
Which is just not productive. At least pick the people and throw them outside if you're going to just be okay with it.
Don't just, because it's for the amount of murder that happens in this town, they are sure as shit loving to be just out and about, crammed like sardines in the middle of this open town square.
Weapon in hand, everyone.
Yes.
But only for strangers, not for vampires.
But not silver, not garlic. There's no crosses.
Nothing.
It's pitchforks and half hand sights.
And they don't have to be invited inside either because they just happen to be in houses. And everything else.
Yes, the invitation thing's completely other. Unless someone invited them 100 years ago, and how long is there an expiration date on invitations?
I don't think so.
So
Well,
yeah,
according to Buffy, a spell can be done to revoke it, but whatever. And,
honestly, I would trust Buffy rules over a lot of other.
Yeah.
but
Facts.
I don't know her character name. Kate Beckinsale. She knew one of the. It seemed like she knew her before she became a vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Knew
then
her name.
but while Van Helsing's fighting the one, two of them drag her off, and they're about to like bite her or
Munch
eat
I
her,
her,
did
whatever.
like that she, one of the brides had like drained or bit a guy, threw him on the bar, and was like, 30 years. What a great year. And then just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Anna reveals that her brother was attacked by a werewolf and presumed dead. We actually saw that scene sometime earlier in here.
oh,
Yeah.
the whole
Oh.
yes. And like, he's
She
on the
runs
pole
away
and, like,
from him,
yes.
from the werewolf, and then he jumps in to save her, shoots him, and they both fall off a cliff
Okay,
into water.
hypothetically speaking, okay,
Yes.
we are not podcasters. We're werewolf hunters. And we have now set up this elaborate trap scheme to trap a werewolf.
Yes.
Would you want one person to have the only silver, or would you want every fucking person on the werewolf hunt to have something made of silver? Because I feel like that would probably be like, no, we're just going to trust this guy with 1 to maybe 3 bullets that are silver, and then everything else is fine.
Right. Yeah, all of us need to be prepped with stuff.
You
Like
would
Mike talked
think,
about this
right?
all the time on Buffy, like where like Buffy's the only one that has the stakes and stuff. Why the friends don't have holy water and stakes? Like prepare everybody in case they get in danger, you know?
Yeah, what if
Versus
something happens
relying
to you?
on one person to do everything.
And this is also kind of confusing to me too. And I guess it's because of the other werewolves that we're dealing with are in the first cycle of transformation. But like, I was so thrown off by a werewolf in the middle of the day with no moon out,
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, so once they pass the full moon and then like the curse is set, they're just I'm assuming just permanently a werewolf forever.
Permawolf.
That
Permawolf.
just reminded me of Wolfman, that movie that just came out, actually.
Oh yeah. So it's more of like a curse infection
Well,
thing where it's like,
Yeah.
We don't want to get too into that. That did just come out.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
But no,
scratch that. I'm not.
no.
I
I
don't know,
mean, I
Sean,
think
you-
that's fine. I just don't want to explore that avenue any further.
Yeah, all right.
Fair enough.
But I completely understand yes, I think it's probably the same parallel where it's like once it's there, it's permanently there, and there's no costume change between being a human at that point.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe
Seems
I
that
don't
way.
know. They don't explain
Okay,
it.
so that's the curse aspect, I think. If I
Yeah.
can turn back, okay, fine.
All right, so she revealed her brother was attacked by a werewolf, presumed dead. That night, Velkin, now a werewolf, appear. All right.
Yeah, he breaks
ChatGPT
in
messed
and
this up
warns
quite a
her.
bit.
Yeah, he like comes in and he like goes to attack her, not really, and then like I guess he's ordered to attack her, and then goes back into human form, and it's kind of like, I'm really sorry, I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on. And then we get that weird exorcist climbing the fucking
Yes.
wall and then ripping his skin. I figure it's like, pick a lane. You know what I mean? Like if we're if we're gonna be like way out of bounds with like werewolf lore and stuff like that, and you want them to make it look like something out of Hereditary, where like they're just hanging out in the corners of buildings, fine. You know what I mean? But I felt like that and the skin rip was just like, I would have just liked him to have been on the ground ripping off his own skin. I think that would have been creepier
I guess it's
than like
different.
Spider-Man glued to a wall. I don't know.
I mean,
Also,
it's
how is he
different than-
doing that? He didn't
That's
have
what I'm
claws
saying.
yet.
Like he's a werewolf, so he should be on the like. Why is he sticking to the ground? Like it just, I mean, sticking to the wall. Like it doesn't make sense. I thought it was pretty cool, but
It looks cool.
it didn't make any
I will
sense.
totally
This
give
is
that.
different from everything else that we have seen.
Right.
Yeah, but it didn't make any sense. It's like, why are we doing this? I feel like they just like, hey, let's just do this. It's different.
Totally.
Be honest
Let's
with you
go.
guys, I didn't even clock it. I don't remember that.
Again, there was so much happening.
I'm like
There's a
forgetting.
lot going on.
There is so much happening, and I both times I watched it, I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting this movie as I'm watching it. Like,
You are. Yes, absolutely.
But then he transforms. He doesn't attack her. Leaps out. Van Helsing appears, runs after the werewolf, and right before he has the chance to shoot him, Kate Beckinsale stops him. He's like,
Yes.
"Why'd you
Don't
do that?"
do
My
it.
brother.
Well, it's also okay. Why did the what is he, the gravedigger, the undertaker, like why was he trying to kill him with the shovel? Like
the main Transylvania guy with the long hair.
What was up with I felt that there's a whole subplot with this dude that like they cut out of the movie. Like that was like
A deleted scene or something.
yeah, give me the the gravedigger cut. You know what I mean? Because I'm like
The Gravedigger cut.
what is up with this dude? Although I was kind of rad that he got bum rushed by the werewolf and then like thrown directly into an open grave where I was like
Sick.
I like it when the trash takes itself out. You know what I mean?
Did you guys understand this whole family aspect of it? Because when they first introduced it, I was like,
It's so
I'm gonna pretend I know what you're saying.
The
so
family that he's
confusing.
like going there to help defeat
Yeah,
Dracula.
so they're descendants of these people, and it.
yeah.
No,
So I guess
they
like
lost me.
I think the main so like the main overarching thing is that like the guy who's like the beginning of this family bloodline, his son was Dracula,
Mhm.
then turned into Dracula, and then as penance, this guy goes to like the church, and then they're like, okay, cool. Well, you kind of spawned like the son of Satan, but if you can kill him, then your family by proxy, everybody gets to go to heaven. It's like a free pass. And so then all these other generations have
that what
died
it is?
and then they're just in and then they're just in purgatory. So like this generations of this family that have died are just like sitting at the sidelines waiting for someone to take it.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
okay, there's only one of them left. Who gives a fuck at this point?
Yeah,
That's what I like. The bloodline's dead. Like there's just a bunch of people in purgatory now, and like it's that like, well, sorry.
Yeah, they're all by the end. Yeah, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if they killed Dracula or Dracula was killed,
Oh
that
no,
frees
we
them?
get that.
Oh yeah,
we're
because
jumping
she's
the shark.
oh Kate
She's in
Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
I can't wait.
Oh,
All right.
Becken missed.
That is just oh my god. All right. Inside his castle, Dracula reveals his monstrous offspring, thousands of vampire larvae hanging from the ceiling like grotesque cocoons. The vampire lord explains that normal means cannot give life to his children, so he needs Frankenstein's monster to complete the experiment. Dracula's brides lament Marishka's death, but Dracula is unfazed. Did that happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Ish. It kind of blended two different scenes. But for the most part, yeah, he's completely emotionless because he's hollow on the inside. That's why like I'm leaning more towards like emo singer, to be totally honest with you, because like the more he describes himself, it's just like I'm sad all the time. I
Well,
have no
he's more
emotion.
like
I'm
a
hollow.
goth. He's-
Very goth wave. I'm just saying the hair. It's just the
It's the hair. It's
Just
the
my whole
strength.
life
it's
is
just
a dark
the
room.
because it's not
One
a
big
devil
dark
lock.
room.
It's not like you know what I mean. It's not like
No.
a Misfits devil lock. It's to the side. It's eloquently disheveled. He puts it. You know, he's just.
He looks like he's like an accountant who plays in a vampire rock band on the weekends.
Ooh. Yeah, like he's the tour guide for Dracula's castle when you get to walk around.
He also kind of has a like 80s sleazeball thing to him. Like he could be a
Yeah.
businessman
Yeah,
who's
Mm.
gonna
he's
be-
gonna suck your blood or sell you a used car.
Yeah.
He's just not intimidating to me at all.
No.
No.
He's not scary.
When he turns
At
into
all.
a big monster,
I mean, that was scary.
that would be
yes.
scary. That would be scary.
But usually when I
Giant
look at
bat
like
monster.
Draculas and the head vampires and stuff, like even their human form, there's something about
They
them that's
have
at least a bit intimidating. you
like a
know?
charisma in
Yeah.
a way.
What's his name? Fright Night, Bobby. That one that you
Oh,
like the way he's
Oh,
like.
God.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
has
that
something
guy.
about him that
Yeah.
can be
Oh, yeah.
menacing.
Yeah.
Chris
Jerry.
Sarandon.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jerry
Jerry
Dandridge.
Dandridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry's got just that
Oh,
swagger
man,
the whole
he
time.
is-
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
charismatic to a T. This guy, yeah, this Dracula is not. This one,
Yeah.
this feels almost like they cast someone else, and this guy's the understudy who had 15 minutes to prepare before each scene. I'm doing what now? Just you're Dracula. Just deal with it.
Just go. Yeah, there you go.
He goes for it with
Also,
the
those
accent.
cocoons, like they reminded me of the cocoons and Gremlins before
Yes.
they like turned out when they were just like up in there. I was like, kind of remind me of the little cocoons from
Yeah,
Gremlins.
weird flying
Yeah.
CGI gremlins. I'm also okay. Now that you bring up the fact that like this is the offspring between this thing, the birthing process of those sacks must have been fucking horrifying. And then the fact that there are thousands of them, where I'm like, that is. I mean, I guess if you're bored in a castle, and all you get to do is just drink blood, and you're just boning, I guess all the time, you're gonna have that much offspring. But like it's a lot of goo eggs.
I still don't understand how it happened.
Yeah,
I want to know.
I want to know the physiology of this.
Yes,
Like,
I want to know.
Utterly confused.
Make it make sense for me.
Is because I'm like in my head, it doesn't make any sense. But it's like I feel like there's like the queen from Aliens somewhere in there, just popping these things out. You know what I mean? Like,
So, all right, never mind. We're not going to go that far because now I'm thinking Dracula, the queen from Alien, and his.
I thought,
we're not gonna go there.
Someone's cucking someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm jumping back
my
over
head.
to IMDb to. We'll make this work. All right, that so because I think ChatGPT was starting to lose it. So grateful Van Helsing saved her life and destroyed Mariska. Anna takes Van Helsing and Carl back to the castle where the Valerius family has lived for hundreds of years following Dracula's human death. That evening, Anna wants to go out vampire hunting, but Van Helsing, preferring to wait until daylight, sprays her with knockout spray. This is also so wrong.
Right.
He just wants to go on his own, right? Like,
He just she goes, I need to defend my family, and then he goes, does this smell like chloroform? And then she just drops, and then also
and then does he like leave her as bait or what?
Well, no, that's when she wakes up, and then this is where the whole werewolf thing happens.
Oh, that
right?
that's who's following her around at this part. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the stalking.
Got it. Yeah. I just know we had skipped the knockout part. Van Helsing agrees to help Anna look for the antidote and try and save her brother. That is also not what happens.
Oh. Jesus, it's so.
There's so many.
I dozed off a few times.
I'm going back to ChatGPT.
There's a Dracula Gabriel conversation. He's like, you don't know who you are, do you? And we've known each other before and all that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
It's also like these weird non sequiturs where I'm like, could you please explain that? Because they don't like he's an angel, but like I guess you're supposed to infer that.
I guess.
And that feels like Why does he have the ring?
Yeah, they've Dracula knows Van Helsing, calls him Gabriel. They have some sort of history.
I think they worked together back in the day, and then he killed him for whatever reason and took the ring. I don't understand why he doesn't remember who he is. Maybe the church could answer that. They didn't really want to give us too much information.
They're using him. Mind wipe.
The church might be the bad guys. I don't know.
Right.
He
was actually an angel, and then they ripped his wings off. And then he loses his memory. And then they just use him as this weird immortal servant of just like fighting monsters or something like that.
That sounds great right there.
We should, okay, you know what? We're going to rewrite Ben.
We're going to rewrite it. We're going to remake our own. Yes, do it better.
Van Helsing and Anna track Frankenstein's monster to the ruins of an old windmill. I like this part where they're just having the romantic moment and they share absinthe, which for some reason she gives him advice on how to drink it, and then they collapse down into the little...
Yeah, it's not like they discover it more than like they Goonies fall into a lagoon underneath like the ruins of this thing.
Completely by accident. And he's a smart Frankenstein.
First like, and he goes, wait, hold on a second. I just want to live.
Yeah.
And then I like that Van Helsing's response is just hit him with like a baker's dozen amount of darts in his back.
Yeah.
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 Little blow
And then it's
darts.
like, wait, I don't want to kill him. I can't kill him.
Yeah.
Don't shoot him. And
I
then
sense evil. He's not evil.
Yeah.
if Beckinsale had
Evil may have
blown this
made
fucking
him
dude's
left his
brains
mark
out,
on him.
that would have been the end of the movie. Like if after he says,
100%.
"I'm the key to Dracula's and thousands of these things spawning," it'd been like, "Oh, well, I don't want to kill you, but it seems like this would be the easier conclusion to just."
Yeah. I mean,
Nope, we're gonna send him right back to Rome.
we're getting. I still don't understand what electricity has to do with birthing these babies. I don't.
I think it's like, okay, so where? All right.
He said something about enough voltage, right? Like,
But they're like real bats. So what the fuck is it?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, like they're bat gremlin kids. Okay, so it's different for every. So I'm assuming like a normal person just gets eviscerated because what's his name's dad got just fried.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then werewolves apparently emit like a yellow electricity that kind of jumpstarts these things and makes them pop. And by the time we get to Frankenstein, his is green. And then I guess green is go and green makes them permanent or something like that. None of that is explained. I've absolutely, I was just like, I guess there's color coordinated lightning that gives different people powers.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll go with that. So
Okay.
I think that perhaps before this part where they fall, I'm so confused by both of these notes. But at some point, those two are sneaking around. They find these eggs. The eggs hatch, and they start
shooting around. This is when we have the Dracula fight. The villagers start getting bitten and attacked, and everybody's getting fucked up. We also get the friar who saves a lady who I'm assuming bones him after the fact. For
yes, because
like a thank you.
How can I ever repay you? He whispers in her ear, and she's like, "You can't do that." He's like, "I'm just a friar," and then she smirks.
I can do whatever I want.
And then later,
You went right to
we see that
that.
they waking up
since
together.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
But it's werewolf juice in these gremlins, so like they just explode after about like they have like a detonation timer.
Yeah.
Where like they're feeding and then there's
They just pop.
which didn't go into the Gorometer, but there is a whole lot of like weird gremlin baby goo like everywhere in this one. Like when they pull
Oh,
the
it went
pod
into the
apart,
Gorometer for me, and I'm still lower than you.
it's pretty low. But yeah, no, and then they escape from Dracula's thing. They fall through and then they hop up, and then they have a devised plan to take him by cart to Rome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's when we get that amazing chase scene where Van Helsing's got the carriage and he's riding fast and he starts getting attacked. Is by a werewolf, right? No,
we got
that's
bat
later.
ladies.
Yeah.
We got it was mostly
And-
just bat ladies.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
just the bat ladies here. They're attacking him.
I like the Vampire Hunter D kind of like helmets they gave all of the horses. Like
That's
I thought
true,
that
they
was
did. That's the better version of this movie if you want to watch something like this.
Oh,
watch Vampire
yes.
Hunter D Bloodlust.
The entire time I was watching this movie, like my subtext with this is that like this plays like a video game. The special effects feel like a video game, and these plot points feel like a video game. Like at any point during this, like it was like 15 minutes of certain subplots, I felt like there should have been a save option before different scenes.
Agreed.
So the best part of this chase is there's a broken bridge up ahead.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
And Van Helsing's been flopping around different parts of the carriage. Now he's kind of out with the horses, flopping around on whatever keeps them together when you have a bunch of horses like that. And this is a long, long distance, big distance.
Yeah.
And the horses run and jump it. And they make it.
They nail it.
And the carriage doesn't
the
make it.
carriage
It
doesn't.
falls.
Yeah.
But they make it over the whole thing. And it is one of the funniest things I may have ever seen in cinema. Like, it's not intended to be funny.
It's
You know, they were like, nobody's seen this before.
I want the cut where like the horses just jump off, and then you get that fucking guitar like just like a guitar solo shred in slow motion as the horses come up and just like,
Yes. Well, that's gonna be in the cut in our version.
That's right. It'll be in the Gatling gun cut. Yeah.
Yes.
So babies pop, they go on this ride, but it was just a
decoy.
Yeah.
Which also murks one of the other brides because she like goes and she goes, we gotta save the Frankenstein, and then like opens the carriage up and like there's nothing in there, and she looks like, oh no, there's 1,000 spikes tied with dynamite.
Boom, she's gone.
Oh my god.
Which I was surprised by. I thought she was the leader and I expected her to be the last one.
No, I can tell she wasn't.
We have the redhead who, I guess that makes sense since they were talking earlier, but
right. And this is almost like they almost want to give you like a Mina, like original Dracula vibe. Like they were good friends before she became a bride, which they don't really explain. They're just like, yes, I know you sometimes, and I'm gonna cry when I murder you. It's like, but why?
I wish we got that backstory a little bit.
Yeah,
I just want to know their little history.
For 2+ hours, it leaves a lot questioned, which is baffling to me.
And it makes me think, like what Mike said, let's go back and watch this and see what they spend their time on, because
or let's just make a series.
Let's make a series.
At this point,
go for it.
Yeah. Well, it's just I like the fact that after this thing, like they hit it and like she's completely impaled and dead, and then we get to that was a decoy. The real carriage is there, and the second they're like everything's totally cool, that's when the fucking werewolf shows up.
So great, perfect. Werewolf shows up, knowing that Dracula will soon know their whereabouts. Van Helsing tries to take Frankenstein monster back to Rome for protection, but they are attacked.
Yes.
Van Helsing destroys Verona and gets a silver bullet into Velkin, who later dies in Anna's arms. I do like that when they're riding in the back of the carriage and the roof sets on fire and you see Frankenstein inside. It's like,
I hit the loudest chuckle.
At some point, I stopped taking notes because everything was making fun of the movie. It was just like, and then when this part happens, like crying and laughing emoji.
Oh, totally. Yeah, well, because like the whole thing gets set on fire and then like it just like crumbles to the ground. I also like how everybody just ducks and covers, like just completely just bails out of this thing.
As they should. He kills the brother dies, and it goes over to check on Van Helsing. He's been bit.
Oh no. Nom, 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 nom. And not like, and like Michael was saying, like it's not like you would picture a 7.5 foot tall werewolf to chomp on you and have like, I don't know, like a third of your arm missing. No, this is like a little, you know, like when dogs get too excited and they do that little like nibble on the front of their teeth, like just a gnaw on your pant leg. That's the equivalent of what happened to the werewolf.
From a werewolf that size, yeah.
It's just supposed to be a sexy little bite. That's all.
Teasing. So,
werewolf hickey.
The last remaining bride, Alira, picks up Anna, flies her back to Dracula. Van Helsing, Carl, and the monster go for a walk.
Just a walkabout.
They run into Alira again in Budapest. She invites them to a Halloween masquerade ball. They are going to exchange the monster for Anna here. He's like, it's got to be a public place where it won't do anything. Well, hey, there's this ball. That'll be good. All right, let's do that. Van Helsing tranquilizes the monster again. And both times dude. I laughed at this. Yeah, where he's like, I'm sorry. And just blows that single little dart out of the tube. It just comes off so nothing, you know?
Yeah. Also, why wouldn't you do that to, I don't know, the vampires? Like if it works or the werewolf, to be totally honest with you.
Yes, the werewolf for sure. Then he like takes him to a graveyard to hide him in a...
He drags him in like a mausoleum.
Yeah.
And then like, or no, sorry, like a church ground. It's like a church. It's like a dilapidated church, and they put this ginormous cross in front of the door to it'd be like,
oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
We'll get him later. He goes, unless someone dead helps him.
Immediately pan to a grave where it like creaks up and a hand comes out.
But it's also like, why the fuck is Igor just like hanging out in a closed stone coffin?
Good point.
Like,
is
was
that
he just?
who it was?
I'm assuming so. Yeah. So, but then it was just like, because I mean, there's no zombies in this movie. There's no like skeletal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He was.
guess so.
Yeah. He was off the clock. He's union, and he had to be like, yeah.
They go to the ball. Dracula dances with Anna. This is how
Vampire
much
ball.
I don't know what Kate Beckinsale looks like. I thought he was dancing with his last remaining bride until I realized, they make it obvious that it's Anna.
I see the similarities. I see what you mean.
Mhm.
I get it.
And
he did also kiss her, so it's like, why would that be her?
Right.
Totally.
True.
And Michael, we
Yes.
get our full circle puppet master reference where he goes like, how do you feel like being a puppet on my strings?
Oh my god.
This fucking guy.
So I think that her turning into the jester from Puppet Master, that theory I think makes complete concrete sense now.
Okay.
So this party is being like the catering staff is also circus performers.
We got like contortionists, we got people on trapeze, we got balance walkers, fire breathers. Yeah,
There's these trapeze artists that are just going back and forth across the room, jumping, like doing flips, jumping to the other bars. People walking on top of balls, holding like trays of champagne or something. But the
It reminds me of the scene I mean, this one was doing it a little bit more, but in Batman Returns, the little ballroom scene that they had there.
Yes.
I thought about that.
Like gaudy.
Yeah.
I also find it really funny because, like, obviously you find out like within 30 seconds that everybody in the building is a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't even think about it on my first watch.
Oh, with the mirror? Yeah.
I only
there's-
thought of him being missing and didn't realize, oh shit, nobody else is
Everybody
there.
else.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either.
it did take my second watch to realize this, where I'm like, you know what? It's so funny, A, that they're all vampires, but B, like all of these circus performers, like you can float and fly.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
why do you have trapeze artists? Like they're just like float like
And are they human? Because it seems like it's off screen, but it seems like Van Helsing just grabs one and punches him out real quick.
and knocks him out. Can you knock out a vampire?
That's
Maybe.
Great question. I don't know.
Yeah.
These vampires have
These
all
ones.
sorts of different ways they work.
There's levels of a vampire. I don't know.
And I think that's so funny
Maybe
when we
just
see him
maybe just
on the
trapeze
trapeze
vampires.
and he jumps to the other one and his arms
They got
are
glass
flailing.
jaws.
I'm trying to think, when they were running after them, did any of them have wings, or were they just literally running after them? when
They were
about to
running
jump
and
out
like
the window?
jump and doing those weird like ethereal jumps, like the like
Force jump.
the Super Mario double jump in the air. Bloop, bloop.
So I do like his plan. I guess he goes on the trapeze and then drops to some other cord and cuts that to swing down to grab Anna, and has Carl distract him by pushing a fire spitter and just at the right
Setting him
time to
on fire.
spray Dracula and set him on
Yes.
fire. And I
Right.
like, as he's rescuing her, Dracula goes over to the fire sprayer and like throws him across the room.
I absolutely detest the vampires. Okay, the dumb elongated jaw going down when they all hiss. Just give them fake fangs. Just have them hiss.
That was bad.
They're already in masquerade clothes.
We don't need
Like,
extra
we got the-
CGI in this movie.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
We absolutely don't need that.
I guess, I don't know, like in 2004, was it that noticeable to us? Because you know how you look at
probably
stuff
not.
I think so.
now compared to then, like, I don't know.
I
don't
think so,
remember.
because I remember just from the trailers, the CG in this movie turned me off from seeing it. If anything, I think I'm a lot more forgiving of that stuff now because I'm
Yeah.
so much more used to it because I've been seeing it for 20 years. Where this was like right after The Lord of the Rings. It was the first movie to use that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Now I'm like, I guess that's just life.
And then zombies came back, and it was like, okay, well, who cares?
True.
So they escape. They jump out a window, but they see that the bad guys have Frankenstein. They've taken him on a boat. Van Helsing tries swimming after him and like can't swim very well. Maybe it's all his clothes on, but he is moving slow. I gotta say, he is weighed down, and like a gate falls down in front of him that keeps him from getting there. This is when we find out that Carl has orders from the Vatican that Frankenstein has to be killed, even though he's not evil, and but he could be used for bad purposes, and he's not human.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Helsing's like. Van Helsing's like, what about me? I'm not. Did you tell him about me? And, no, I didn't tell him. But this is the first time we see the werewolf starting to come out in Van Helsing a little bit.
Also, so I'm assuming werewolves came before vampires in this world because the way, God, the father figure of the people, I don't know his name. Valère, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the only way to kill him is like the bite of a werewolf. So I'm assuming werewolves came before the vampires.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They'd have to.
You would think?
Well, I don't know if they'd have to, but
Because then they have like, don't the vampires have like werewolves doing their, I guess, bidding and doing,
that
'Cause
drove me
like
crazy.
that even
when we find out that the werewolf is the only thing that can kill a vampire, and Carl's like,
right.
well, if one of them had the will to go against him, he could do it. And it was like, so all these people have just been like, just haven't had the will to fight back. All these werewolves working for him. Give me a break.
So technically, then I guess werewolves are stronger than vampires, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they only have to kill one. Just kill him, and the rest of them just die out.
This would solve that debate in this movie.
In this movie,
werewolves and these vampires. I'm more of a vampire guy myself. I know, Bobby, you said you're a werewolf guy. Ross is a werewolf guy.
Werewolf guy, yeah.
Werewolf guy here too.
Only one. They get out of the ball. Frankenstein gets taken away. Now they gotta go back to Transylvania. They're gonna rescue Frankenstein. They also know that he's the key. I think they know he's the key. Frankenstein definitely told him, listen, there's 1,000 more eggs. You didn't take care of all those eggs.
No, there's a whole lot of eggs.
The key master.
You are the key. You are the great. We need to find the gatekeeper. I do like that.
The friar.
Oh my God, the friar going through. Can I tell the folklore? Him trying to break down all of like the folklore and lore. Although I will give credit where credit's due. I do like the fact of the idea that Dracula cannot see his reflection because all mirrors are doorways to his domain. I was like, that's pretty dope. Okay, I actually like that. That's super different, and like they don't explain it very well.
Maybe it's something else.
Something else.
I can't because they stare at a wall, say some words, get it to turn into a mirror. They can
because they finally have the piece that's been hanging in. I like the fact that they're baffled about trying to open this thing, but then Rome has had this literal piece of the actual part of this thing to actually finish it.
And all it says is like, and he said, open the door.
Yeah, it's like you didn't try that this whole time.
First, Van Helsing and Anna go through the mirror. Then for some reason, the friar decides to go through too. This is when we learn you can't get back that way. Once you go through, you're stuck because
which would have pissed
quickly
me off.
regrets his decision. Yeah, for real. Oh God.
I think at this point we see more werewolf stuff. He jumps while holding them up into the castle.
Oh yeah, he grabs them and jumps up the wall, and the friar's like, Well, I'm glad I'm not cold anymore, but that's not good, right?
It's getting to that time. We need to do this right now.
Right now. We got to figure this out right now.
So they see Frankenstein in a giant ice cube. I don't know how they did that.
Well, what is it? They find Igor, and then he's like, "You're not supposed to be here." Yeah. Oh no!
Oh yeah, he's like, and
they threaten to cut his dick off.
To kill you. He's like, "Wow."
Yes.
Yeah.
And it works.
I also like the fact during that scene we're like, we're gonna cut your fingers off, and then Beckinsale does that weird like wide open like leg swing. He goes, or something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Snip snip.
And
which I doubt he's using anyway.
No, right?
No,
for sure. Frankenstein tells them that
save yourself.
There's a cure. Dracula has a cure.
Yes.
They're like, why would he have a cure? Friar puts it together because he'd seen the painting come to life and have a werewolf and vampire battle. Werewolf's the only thing that can kill him. So they're like, all right, we'll get the cure. At the stroke of midnight, you'll become a werewolf, but by the 12th stroke, we got it. So what did that mean? Did that mean the dongs or what's the 12th stroke of midnight?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
Sam, I'm not quite sure how many dongs need to be stroked.
Whatever it is, it didn't seem to matter. There was never a time where I felt the time pressure crunching down.
Yeah. Again, this is Van Helsing logic. It's all timey-wimey. It's all weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, technically, that entire transformation scene when it started at midnight, isn't that like a 15-minute goddamn scene?
Yeah.
Like that should be technically within 12 gongs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Within 12 dongs?
12 dongs.
Oh, ooh, that's a lot.
It's a lot of dongs.
Way too many.
That's way too many. By the 12th strike of the werewolf dong.
Well, lipstick or no lipstick?
Oh my gosh.
It's midnight, baby. It's full lipstick.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
Noon would be without.
Noon would be without.
All right. Where were we? So while Van Helsing goes in search of Dracula, Anna and Carl force Igor to lead them to the antidote, which is stored in a jar of viscous liquid. Because Carl has a whole thing about how he won't put his hand in viscous liquid. Mm-hmm. Which turns out to be smart because it gets knocked over. And I guess it's acid because it burns up that one of the last remaining bride of Dracula.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time picking it up because it's hot. They go to run out. He makes it out, but Beckinsale gets grabbed. This one we see her melty face. Kind of looks cool, but again, not great.
Yeah, you could just tell it was a little.
Yeah.
CGI is still a little crazy.
Yeah.
Then she heals up and they're fighting. I don't know what they're doing. While that's happening, Carl takes the antidote to look for Van Helsing. Van Helsing has discovered Dracula's laboratory. The Frankenstein monster has been hoisted to the roof, and Dracula is attempting to drain his life into his infants. Van Helsing makes his way to the roof, but before the monster can be freed, lightning strikes and sends his life force down through the infant nursery. And
this is where we get that green.
The green.
Yeah.
The infant, This is back at IMDb. Just as Frankenstein monster gets free, Dracula changes into a bat and attacks Van Helsing. The monster is struck again by a bolt of lightning that sends him flying over the edge of the roof. On his way down, he's like trying to grab. I guess this castle is surrounded by cables and chains.
All the chains.
Or I guess they're power lines, maybe for the. Oh, they're all the power lines run into the egg sacs.
Sam, is this where the movie goes off?
It completely falls apart.
Yeah. It's off the chain.
He grabs a hold of a power line and then is swinging.
It's like a power line to a chain to another power line and then starts whipping himself around. He's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But just horribly screaming the entire time, like,
swings along that overpass
Yes,
for lack of a better term.
And he knocks Igor off.
Knocks Igor off. Yeah.
Yep.
Carl ducks it, but then he's kind of stuck. And he's like, help me. And Carl's like, but you're supposed to die or something like that.
Didn't you want to die?
I want to live. Real bad. So he pushes some torch off type thing that had been keeping him on there. He continues to swing with what lucky happenstance could this be, right through some boards or a window. It's hard to tell exactly what, but he breaks through, kicking Dracula's bride just in time to save Anna.
Yeah. Yep.
With both
One thing
feet.
I like this fight between Anna and the last bride remaining, and this is kind of clever to me because she was saying what most people say in horror movies in general, where she was saying, I think if you're going to kill someone, kill them. Don't stand there just talking about it. And I hate that in movies where it's just like, just fucking kill them. If you really want to kill them, just do it.
Yes.
Like, why are we sitting here doing a whole monologue?
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's
just
just
take me out. Just take me out.
She wants to toy with her first.
Right, you toyed with her already.
Didn't she also get
Did
she also get yelled at the beginning of the movie? She's like, stop doing the monologue and just do
just
your
do
job.
it. If you really want to take somebody out, you would just do it. Like, how many times we going to keep talking? You don't really want to kill me, girl.
So, what's his name? Still out on the overpass, but it's broken. He's got Carl. He's got the antidote. Frankenstein's like, I'll distract her. Save Van Helsing. And so Kate Beckinsale swings out on the power line, jumps off, does a backflip, grabs another line. As she's swinging by, Carl perfectly times up, tossing the antidote, which she reaches out and grabs. Thankfully, she doesn't miss it or stab herself with it. But as she's swinging across, Dracula's bride, bang, gets
and
her,
we
knocks
get
her,
the
and
scene.
she like bounces off all around the side of the castle and lands barely hanging on.
And this is where we get the scene of just fucking, this is where she kills her, right? And stabs her, and this is like, this has to be that scene. And then exactly what Bobby was saying, where it's like, just don't talk about it, just fucking do it. All right, now you're dead.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she's thrust a spike through her heart. Just then the clock strikes midnight. Van Helsing changes into a werewolf and attacks Dracula. Dracula turns into a monster Dracula.
I also like
knock each other around this lab for a while.
During this fight sequence where he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's talk about this. Do you really talk about this? And then just starts getting mauled and like licked up and shit like that. And then like the moon sequence where like he turns back into a human. Then they have this weird monologue.
Mm-hmm.
And then the changing back is going like, no, we're brothers in this, right?
I like it that his voice changes. I forget what he's saying, but he's like talking in his normal voice, and it changes into like the monster voice.
Mm-hmm.
Very silly. Dracula. So he changes. Dracula takes this moment to inform Van Helsing that he is who murdered Dracula back in the day. And that's who you took my finger. I want my finger back too. Which I didn't even realize that he cut his ring finger off to get that ring.
That's a blind spot for me. I didn't notice the Black Power Ranger didn't have another finger either when I was watching the show and found out.
Yeah.
When I was
in
my 30s.
Was he missing a finger the whole time?
I guess so.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice him show that he was missing the finger until the second viewing.
I was today years old when I realized this recording right now that he was what?
Yeah.
That's it. So
I found that out last year. Yeah.
The moon comes back out. Van Helsing turns into a werewolf again and chews up Dracula's neck is how it's written.
I honestly, he's fucking Dracula. I figured that he would go out a little more hardcore than just like a throat chomp. Like dude, you're a werewolf. Like, fucking rip his head off, or better yet, get. You know how like Hugh Jackman got that. We got that little like werewolf like hickey. Go full bore and just go in with the chomp and eat his heart.
Eat his heart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sick.
Ooh, yeah.
And this is PG-13, so I would think that they would. I don't know.
No, I agree with you, Bobby, because I think I think in certain respects,
going a little bit more.
Yeah, well, especially with like PG-13 horror movies, is that like usually they will keep it tame, and then there is the one scene that would be in an R-rated movie, but because there's only one of them, it constitutes it as like PG-13, and that's the scene I thought we were going to get. Nope, it was just a big whoopee cushion fart.
So after that fart, all of the little vampire babies turn into little fart clouds, and and I do like how there's so many of them, and they're just popping, and then it's just like goo puddles dropping down out of the sky.
Yes.
Yuck. Dracula. Yeah, they die. Anna comes in. She's got the antidote. She's gonna save Van Helsing. He's a werewolf. He attacks her. Carl comes and sees Van Helsing from behind. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got to do it." Comes at him with the stake. Van Helsing stops him. We see he's got the antidote and his shredded werewolf abs, and he's slowly.
So did I miss something? What did he do to her? Did he just choke her?
I think
he killed her, but like how?
I think he just like bum rushed her and like broke her neck, or
maybe
like
she went back and hit her head
like
or something. It very unclear.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, I know he killed her, but like how? It was
idea.
She was just laying there dead. I was like, okay.
I mean, he's huge.
Eyes wide open.
Just tackling somebody.
Yeah, just a werewolf bum rush. I thought I did, although we didn't get the Hugh Jackman manhams, I did like the fact of like the werewolf picking her up and then the howl turning into a scream of a human.
Yeah,
was
that was cool.
That was chef's kiss for me. The scene was not, but just that one idea was just like, oh, I really like that. I really like that a lot.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I wanted to remember to mention it. Also want to remember way back at the ballroom thing, that weird. So it seemed like it was just the score, but then it's the stringed band playing there, and then there's that weird opera singing to it. And it was like hard to tell what was supposed to just be like part of the move, like what they were hearing was also scoring the movie. I don't know, it was weird and interesting. Like I kind of liked it, even though I also kind of don't. I don't know where to land on it.
Right. Honestly, that's the tagline.
That's kind of the whole
fucking movie.
Yeah.
I don't know where I land on this.
Yes.
He's accidentally killed her. But he is saved. He has a seaside cremation with Carl for her. We see Frankenstein floating off on a raft. He's just going off into the ocean on a raft with a paddle.
I don't know. Okay, so I'm assuming this is an allusion to the novel where like he takes this like weird raft and just like goes to like the northern hemisphere and just like lives out his immortality life like in a snow cap somewhere. But I'm also like, dude, you had an opportunity to just go to Rome. Like the job's done. You could just be like a dude just hanging out at the Vatican in like a sub. You could hang out with all of the James Bond dudes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna be
Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Don't they want him dead?
Not now. Dracula's gone, baby.
They still wanted him killed.
I feel like they'd kill him still.
They talked about that. That's when I think it stepped away, but when they get trapped in the water behind the gate is when Carl's like, you can't save him. The Vatican wants you to kill him too. Even without him, he could be used as a tool for evil. It's like, what'd they tell you about me? And that's when we see this little werewolf thing.
He could drown a little girl at some point. And
yes,
back to the cremation.
Give a daisy and throw out. Yeah.
We start hearing a voice in some mist or
sail away,
smoke.
sail away, sail away.
And it's kind of moving up into the clouds, which are dark, but then they part.
Wait, is that Kate fart and sail?
In the clouds?
Yeah.
It is hard to believe that they did this.
Yeah.
And this is a movie full of hard to believe
Holy
choices,
shit.
but this one is like the cherry on top.
Yeah. It's also kind of weird where we kind of not the
Hilarious.
little sprinkle of that when we're talking about the sprinkle incest, where the first time where I watched this, because they don't clearly define like it's kind of hidden but kind of hidden. When she reconciles with her family again, I straight up thought that was like a Princess Leia Luke, like she just mouth hugged her brother, was like with tongue, you know what I mean, where I was like, oh no, oh
Huh?
these Romanian families get down.
All right, well, we did it.
Yeah, right in the sunset, and then just boop, 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 boop.
Got any final thoughts before we move on to the questions?
I have a lot of questions, but I don't think any of them can be answered.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the table read was like going through the whole script. It's like,
Everyone had a different script. That's how
I would have a problem following, I think, anything that was happening.
Yeah.
I wonder if they had to do any reshoots, like something just wasn't working, so they had to like go ahead and redo things because, very
I mean, they
questionable.
maybe should have done
totally.
reshoots.
Yeah.
But even with reshoots, like sometimes when you watch a movie, you can just tell that something's off, and because they did like reshoots or whatever, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
almost does feel like it's two movies meshed into itself. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it almost feels like it was going to be much longer, and they had to pare it down to
yeah,
the running time, because of all the missing stuff we've been talking about.
to a bare bones almost 2.5 hours.
Here's the thing: I don't mind a movie being that long as it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah,
and this
Agreed.
this
felt its length.
long.
They honestly could have taken the baby aspect out.
That wasn't
Dracula
needed.
is just a force that nobody wants to deal with. Just kill it. We don't need babies.
Yep.
Good point. They didn't have a reason to bring in Frank. They could have figured something out. Anyway, we'll be right back. All right, question time. Crematorium of questions.
Ooh.
How would we survive this movie? I don't know if this is necessarily... I mean, I guess we're, in a Transylvanian village?
Yeah. I stay indoors.
Van Helsing.
Yeah.
I need him to come save me. Otherwise, eventually one day, if 1 to 2 people are dying a month...
Ooh, that's very true.
My number will be called.
I think the 4 of us have to jump Van Helsing while she shoots Frankenstein and kills him.
Yes. We're above where they fell down and go, shoot him. Just do it.
You don't know what's about to happen. Kill him now.
You'll save an hour.
Perfect. How do you make the film gooier? Just give me gore. Give me real gore. Have the people in the village getting ripped up by those little vampire babies. Have other people dying when the vampires are getting shot up. Have blood there.
Flesh torn, blood. I just need to see it all.
Yeah.
The bites we were talking about, just see the blood. Just gore.
Go full on from dusk till dawn. Just do it.
Just get gnarly with it. I mean, even the hide dismemberment didn't have blood.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like
exactly.
Just a whole lot of body plop.
Villain level 1 through 10, 1 through 5 for power level, 1 through 5 iconography. I know we were saying Van Helsing was the villain and that Dracula was the hero, but we're good for the purpose of this exercise. We're doing Dracula. Power level, he's pretty strong and he can hypnotize and stuff.
I would give
3-5. It's way
honestly,
more than human, but it's not like godly. But he is really hard to kill. You got to be a werewolf, so that's even higher.
Dude, I gave him 4.5 because it's not that he has godlike omnipotent power. It's like literally one specific creature thing can kill him. And what's weird is that it has to happen within 12 werewolf dongs.
Well, I think that was just he had to get the injection within that time before he could be saved.
But it's also the willpower, though, because it's like the second midnight strikes, the curse hits, and now he has full command over werewolves. So it's like there's a very limited
Ah,
gap of time.
I did not get that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
He's
just,
actually
that's a bit
dumb.
much.
Why keep werewolves around you?
right. Wouldn't you
I
just
guess-
like
Keep
Just
them
kill all
closed
of
for a
them off and
reason.
then you're invincible.
pull an underworld and just like
Yeah.
just start just hate words, just start murdering?
That's the whole plot of those movies, right? Is werewolves and vampires.
Yes.
Right? I saw the first one whenever it came out, and that was enough.
But then, like iconography, I think he's probably one of the worst looking Draculas
Yes.
in film.
Ooh, he does not look cool at all.
No, he looks like he should be selling me something at a Spirit Halloween.
He looks like he should be selling me something at a kiosk in the mall.
Ooh,
Um,
I'm gonna give him a 2. For some reason, I feel like if Nicolas Cage did this, the score might go up a little bit.
Oh,
as
yeah.
ridiculous as it would look.
Oh, yeah.
But
he was a better Dracula. We've seen it.
True.
True. Yes.
He's just not memorable. So I just
Totally.
Yeah. I can't even give it a 2. I'm gonna give him like a 1.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I was about to give him.
Yeah, it's just sucks.
Because yes, he is strong and stuff, but it's just I don't know, man. Like I said before, compared to all the other vampires and Draculas and stuff, it's just this dude here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah.
Should it have a sequel, and what is your sequel? I kind of wish that it had gotten all the things that it wanted, not because they're good, but this movie is entertaining, and
Yeah.
somebody
yes.
could make a better version. So
Maybe they would have
That's
learned from
what
their
I'm going with.
mistakes in
Yeah.
the sequel. You know, give them
there's
a chance.
almost no way the TV show could have been good. Just thinking about mid 2000s TV show of this caliber.
Oh yeah. I would have loved to have had a sequel, because if he's supposed to be an angel and he's lived for like hundreds of years, I would have loved to have seen like colonial America Van Helsing dealing
put
with
him
like
somewhere else.
but like in
Like a
in America,
Wendigo.
but then like with like Wendigos and like things that like or folklore
Take him
of
out of the
early
universal monster, just
Yes.
put him into like cryptid.
Salem witch
cryptozoology.
trial.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would actually, I'd watch it.
yeah, him hanging out with a Bigfoot.
Aliens.
That could be like the Frankenstein, like he's like the helpful
Yes.
guy.
I'm here for this.
Yeah, the next
Opportunity.
movie he's partnered with Bigfoot.
Who also wants to live.
Who
And that's
also-
what he did.
I want to live.
Why?
I'll leave Frankie
Would you buy
alone.
the soundtrack or score on vinyl?
No.
No.
Pass. Yeah.
And
So
I'm
there's
a
that
big
one.
music person when it comes to movies, but this didn't hit for me at all. Honestly.
No. There's that one thing that's kind of just as weird as the movie, the one song that I'm not sure how to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, definitely nothing at all. So, sorry.
Would this have, I don't know if you saw that Red Riding Hood movie with the girl from Mean Girls, where they had played,
yeah.
they were playing like rock, I don't know, not rock music. It was music that would not be available at the time period.
Right.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah,
so
yeah.
out of place, but it somehow worked. I wonder
Yeah.
if it would have been better if they did that. in
I'm
this movie.
surprised this movie didn't have like a new metal soundtrack.
New metal or like hair metal or something. Just
Well, it's that. I mean, it's 2004. I guess we're just maybe just getting out.
I would have
because it was really only there for a second.
if this, again, written on paper, this movie, I would have thought that like Evanescence did the entire soundtrack and score.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what
it's
I mean.
that time
it seems
era,
like
you
it could
know?
have like a
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason.
Oh my god,
soundtrack.
yeah.
that would be a whole different watch with evidence.
Right? we need the Gatling gun Evanescence cut.
Yes. This movie
Wow.
would've got an
Bring me
extra
to
point for me.
life.
Yes!
Like all these,
What is it?
Bring me to life when the Frankenstein monster wakes up.
Oh my-
Like,
Oh my goodness.
wake me up.
Is anything action figure worthy? I'd actually say yes.
Everything
Yeah.
Yeah.
is action
Yes.
figure worthy.
Yes.
I would want Frankenstein if I were going to get something. Like I said,
Yeah.
I,
I
really
want to
liked
collect
his
them all.
design.
I want the brides as the vampires and not it's the bats, but also not the bats version. Or maybe they'd be like Transformers. You can kind of like flip them.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know how you would develop it, but like the action figure of Van Helsing or the brother or whatever, and then you put them in water, and then the werewolf pops out of the endoskeleton that is
That'd be cool.
the flesh part dissolves and just pops out. I mean, it's only a one and done thing, but
Right.
Yeah,
Could be
cool.
like
That'd be
stuffed
dope.
in there so it expands bigger.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the jester again. I think she's already the perfect.
She's already perfect.
Perfect one. Oh my God. Bobby, I swear, I'm sending you a picture of this jester in her.
You don't need
side-by-side.
to. I already know. I already see it in my head. I already see it.
Is there a merch prop or promo item you would want from this film? I don't remember if-
gas powered crossbow.
I was gonna say
Ram's head.
weapons.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I can't remember if I said it. I ended up skipping a few, but that weighed 45 pounds, that crossbow.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want
Maybe
his
that's
little
how Hugh
spinny
Jackman
things
broke
that
an
he had in the
extra's hand.
beginning.
Is
Those little
yeah.
spinny cutter things that he was whooping.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
little
yeah.
saws. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those were dope.
that's good. You can just set it on your shelf. Doesn't take
Yeah.
up a lot of space.
Yeah.
My favorite kind of prop
Maybe
to talk
the
about.
yeah, right. Maybe the two knights fighting plaque,
The painting.
like the painting, just
Okay.
because it's a deep enough cut that it just would look like a weird, like medieval piece of
Right.
artwork.
Sure. Not
And
like,
like,
you're a huge Van
That's
Helsing
for Van
fan.
exactly, because I feel if you're gonna have a Van Helsing prop, you may want to double up for something like in case you don't want people to know it's a Van Helsing prop.
That works. Midnight showing. You're going to a midnight showing, screaming stuff, throwing stuff.
Absolutely not.
No.
Well, let's say you
garlic
are-
cloves.
Oh, it's
What,
mandatory.
what would you
Yeah.
throw? Yeah. You're
It's
making
made.
it up. You're hosting, so you got to hand out stuff. Yeah, garlic cloves, holy water.
Yes.
Um, Definitely screaming along with Frankenstein whenever he's
Ab-
saying any of his
Yeah.
dumb things.
I'm giving out the bride outfits and wigs. I'm gonna give those out.
Oh, yeah. That's
Vampire
good.
teeth.
Oh, that's
You know?
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you would need more like a fake jaw,
A jaw.
lower half
Oh, yeah.
thing, like a prosthetic. They should have been prosthetic if you're gonna go.
I don't know.
Go with
Did
that.
they let you
Just
get away
give me
with
a
that? I
point.
remember when The Grudge came out and I wanted to prank the audience pretending to be The Grudge, like crawling down the
Yes.
stairs. They said, you can't do that.
You can't do that. Just behind like,
That would have been so fun. I was so
Oh,
mad. I can.
I love that.
Somebody probably would have popped you in your head. That's why.
It would have happened, yeah.
If there were a promotional popcorn bucket for this movie, what would it be? Think either Van Helsing head, pretty obvious with a hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy
oh
to.
no, light up
I don't know.
Frankenstein head,
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be great too.
That'd be
and
cool.
have like the
Comes
green
apart.
lights on the inside, and you open up the top of his head because it's clear anyways.
I'd want the crossbow because the
Ooh.
barrel part of it is
Mm.
like a perfect little popcorn thing. Maybe you could even shoot popcorn with it.
Yeah. Ooh,
One of the vampires
popcorn.
with their mouths stretched, and then you can go digging in.
Oh, that was the whole point. That was the whole
Yeah.
point. That's why they did it, and they just never made the popcorn buckets.
I would say hatched infant vampire cocoon sack.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Goose
Inside.
sack?
Cool.
Yeah.
I would.
It's
yeah.
the butter. You put the butter in and it changes colors or some shit
Yes.
inside.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh, that would be great. Or if you get like green colored nachos, just the nacho cheese.
I would get that shit too.
Yeah.
I like trying weird stuff out.
Weird
I'll
stuff
actually
like
do
that. Weird
Yeah.
promos.
Yes.
All right. It's time to do our ratings.
Oh yeah.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, like, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
On this show, we like to use a rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger represents a different quality about a movie. You can jump off no finger, half finger, quarter finger, whole finger, whatever works for the category. These ratings are intended to be subjective on how we feel about a movie. Doesn't matter if the movie's objectively good or bad. Now, Brian's been missing some shows that's probably going to keep up, and I think he forgot to follow up with his score. So we
it's okay. We'll get it for the re-ratings and the add-on.
Yeah, we'll add it in later. So we're not going to know where it lands in the Google.
You might have loved it.
Is what I'm
like. I'm curious to know.
Yeah,
right.
Ross, I'm curious what you think. Let's start.
Okay.
With you.
I was originally gonna have like, well, here's my adult score and here's my score when I would have been 13 years old watching this in the theater with a parent. I'll just combine the two. All right. So engaging's a 1. I was engaged the entire time. Now, we've talked about it before the show. I don't know if that's because there's so many fucking things going on that I had to maintain laser vision on the engagement of what was going on. And even still, no idea what was going on. So I will give it the full 1 on that. Sticky. I have never quite experienced a film where I instantaneously forgot what I was watching while I was watching it. So like, I feel I've never really given Sticky a goose egg. I don't know if I've ever given Sticky a complete goose egg, but I'm going to give it a goose egg on this one because even the rewatching, like even while we talked about it, I feel like I was forgetting things while talking about it. Mm-hmm. T-shirtable is going to be a tough one because there is again, it's set like a video game. There could be some really fucking fun t-shirts that you could have with Van Helsing.
There's some cool character design that
totally
would work for sure.
But do you have?
But then you also have a Van Helsing shirt.
I was gonna say, do you have the balls to wear a Van Helsing shirt out in public? And like, I think I don't have those. I have like half of those balls, so I'm gonna give it.
You just said that about Perfect Blue, and did you end up buying that shirt?
No, I didn't. But it was the perfect shirt though, so this is why I'm gonna give it a 0.5 because I feel like if there is like the perfect Van Helsing shirt, I will buy it so I can wear it indoors in my own home.
No, that's a shirt you got to wear just to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say if
Van
anybody
Helsing
brings
Fest.
it up, you can like joke about it together.
Wear
but
to the
you'd have to remember what
inauguration of the next president.
The whole inauguration stuff goes. Wait a second, is that a Van Helsing shirt? All right, and then cockles. This is such a fucking weird one for me, man, because there's so many things that don't do it for my cockles, and then there's other ones that absolutely fucking work for my cockles. I'm gonna give cockles the full 1. It's not because it eviscerated them, is that my 13-year-old self would have thought so much of this fucking movie was so cool. Just
the fun stuff is fun, and the bad stuff is kind of fun
too.
Also, just for different reasons.
Yes, exactly. Like, I mean, I think there's certain levels of Limburg cheese or just stinky cheese when it comes to films. Is that like if you can get past the smell, it tastes pretty good. I think this is one of those. If you can get past it, it's like this. It's some for goggles. And then rewatchable. Rewatchable is, oh man, I wanted to give it a full 0, but I think that honestly, talking about it with y'all, I think that like I would revisit this. I'm gonna give it a 0.5 because the idea of having a Van Helsing house party to just have a bunch of under the auspice of just like we're gonna just rage and watch this movie, rag on it. We could have like Van Helsing themed hors d'oeuvres. Okay. You know, like you got to make a fucking spectacle of it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that could I almost want to give it a 0.75 for the fact like in my head I could have an annual.
Want to?
I mean, I think I will because I think I'm going to give it. I would have an annual Van Helsing watching experience on the same level of like Troll 2. I'm not saying it's as good as Troll 2, but like I feel if with my friends, I could have a fucking hell of a time watching this moderately terrible movie. You know what I
You're
mean?
speaking my language. Yes. I love both.
So what is that? What is
Great. That gives you a 3.25 out of 5. How does that feel in your heart?
It seems outrageously high, but I'm going to keep it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Love it. I will go ahead and give my ratings for this one now. We have engaging. I am going to give a 1 because even though apparently I missed a bunch of stuff, I don't think actually I'll give it a 0.75. There were a couple times I got bored or kind of zoned out. Sticky, I'm going to give a 0.25. I just can't see. We talked about how forgettable it is. Other than the horses jumping over the broken bridge, I'm not sure I'm going to remember anything.
The horse parkour was pretty awesome.
It's something. T-shirtable, I will also give 0.5 to, because I do think there's enough cool character design that you could definitely make a cool shirt from it. It's not getting a full 1 because I don't like the movie enough to want to represent it on a shirt.
Yeah.
Cockles. Russ, I'm with you. I'm going to give it a 1. Like, I've been ragging on this movie the whole time. It's going to end up with a fairly low score, but probably higher than it deserves.
Yes,
still.
Absolutely.
And it's not good, but I had a good time. It's not bad enough to be so bad it's good, but it's maybe cliche enough to be so bad it's good.
Yeah. Okay. I can
like
go
it's
with
a
that.
different flavor of so bad it's good.
Yes. Yeah.
And then rewatchable, I'm going to give a 0.25 to, because the only way I'm watching this again is if I'm going to your Van Helsing party.
It's now going to happen every year, baby.
Or in a group to make fun of it. That's the situation.
Absolutely.
Question: would you do a Van Helsing murder mystery party after the viewing?
Well, I mean, that's why everyone has to wear a Van Helsing costume when they show up. Yeah.
I should get with my wife on that. She planned last year for her birthday did a murder mystery party where she wrote the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It's the oh my gosh, I think it's just called Werewolf. It's an actual party game that you can play where it's like there's there's like villagers and werewolves. Well, any mixture of that. Do you know, pin the tail on the bride of Dracula? Like we could have bobbing for Goo Baby. You know what I mean? Like there's tons of stuff that we could do.
Great. So I'm at a 2.75. That feels a little low for the enjoyment I got out of it.
Yeah, you should bump that rewatchable.
But I am also fine with it.
All right,
because it's not like it's a movie that should. I mean, our Discord is going to disagree with us here soon. But
we're gonna get roasted by our Discord. I peeped a little bit of the scores before recording, and I was like, "Ooh, all right, they're not
I'm fine with it."
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, Michael.
Yes.
We're gonna ask you to run through the scores. I'll feed it to you. I can keep track of it. We'll know what your thing is, but we would like you to use our system. Actually, before I ask you to do that, Bobby, what do you think your score is for this movie
overall?
Just if you were to, just rate it out of 5.
I'll say, you know what? I'll give it like a 2.5.
Okay, right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
No, that's fine. And then I'll have you go through the score. We'll see if I want to see if it gets close to that after we do it.
But
and actually, let's go ahead and do yours because I might forget by the time we get back there.
Sure.
So it starts with engaging.
Okay. So engaging, I would probably say like a 1.7.
Well, sorry. So this is 0 to 1 here.
Oh, 0 to 1. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
0 to 1.
It's like you loved it.
We're
Okay.
gonna do 0.25,
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
0.75, or 1. So maybe like
I
a
say
0.25.
0.75. Yeah,
0.75?
0.75. Yeah, 0.75. The visuals, it looks good. I will say the movie looks good. I can see how people would be attracted to it. I mean, I was when I was younger.
Oh, totally.
It's pretty dope. Like I would like to show this to like my little cousins before they get in, like a gateway horror type of thing.
Yes.
Right.
If they get into it, and if they like it, cool. Then we can slowly graduate to the harder stuff. So yeah, I'll give it a 0.75.
0.75.
Yeah.
Sticky. As like memorable, how much you think about it type of thing.
0.5. I'll give it a 0.5.
That's generous. I think I gave it a 0.25.
Yeah, I'll give
Ross
it
gave
that.
it a 0.5 too. T-shirtable. So I think of this as like sort of the character design, and if it looks cool, and then also like, do you like it enough?
I'll give this also a 0.75, only because there's so many designs you can make from these characters. You can do so much with them. Now, granted, I don't like the movie enough to probably rock it all the time, but sometimes if I do see a design on a shirt, if I don't really know too much about it, or if I don't really care for it, but I know a good amount from it, I'll still rock the shirt or whatever. I still will wear it.
Totally.
Yeah, and if it looks like if I had like, I'm not too sure if Cavity Colors have something like this, but they're like the hard t-shirt brand. If they have something well-known, decent art for this movie, I will rock it for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I don't hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. The movie, I don't hate it.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. So cockles. This is like, do you know the expression warms the cockles of your heart? It's like how you kind of just how it makes you feel.
Can I just give 0? Like, it don't make me feel anything, honestly.
Absolutely, you can.
And I'm a big person that feels on movies. Like
like vibes and all that. Yeah,
it's like vibes and stuff. And it just, I got nothing.
Didn't do anything for you in that department. Cool.
Yeah.
And rewatchable.
A 0.25. Is that a thing? 0.25?
0.25, yeah.
I'll give it that.
All right.
Again,
that gives it
because you have an open invitation every year.
To
the Van Helsing
if you're
party.
ever in Orlando,
if you're ever in Orlando,
and I'm okay with that.
That's
I'm
the only
down for
reason.
Yes.
So that brings you in just a hair under. You're at 2.25.
So yeah,
perfect. There you go.
Okay,
nice. The scale is working.
Yes.
All right. Michael, before we go through the scale, what do you think your heart score would be out of 5?
It was going to be a 2.5, but as we were talking about it and I was forgetting things, I was just like, it's a 2. It's going to be a 2 for me.
Totally fair. All right, let's get into it. Engaging.
I put 0.5. There were moments I was really engaged and entertained, and then there were a lot of moments I kind of just was not paying attention to the movie and waiting for something else to draw me back in. I have laundry. I have to cook later. This stuff would pop into my so it wouldn't go above a 0.5.
I feel that. I mean, I'm surprised at how much I missed in our conversation about it. It's like, man, I thought I was paying attention. Sticky.
Did I remember this movie at all?
Yeah, right. I almost gave it a 0, and it may end up one day later being a 0, but for now.
So the only things I remembered about this were the Dracula's brides and Kate Beckinsale's outfit. That was literally all I'm gonna give it 0.25. That might be the gay part of me that just focused on those things. That was it. It's just a 0.25.
I mean, they are pretty amazing. I don't know about the Kate Beckinsale's outfit. I didn't, but the brides are.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
If I were straight, the redhead. That's what I'm supposed to say about that.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they're all fine. T-shirtable.
Okay, if I could just put Van Helsing and nothing else, just the word Van Helsing, maybe I would give it a 0.5 because that could be anything. That could just be I like the character of Van Helsing, not necessarily this movie. And then it could just open the conversation up. I don't have to necessarily say, "Oh, I love this movie."
It's true.
Right. You want to do 0.5? You can do 0.25 if you want.
Actually,
cockles next. Vibes, feeling, all that.
That is a point. I'll go with 0. It had so much potential for me to feel stuff. So much potential, but I felt nothing. All I thought was it's long and I'm ready for it to end.
Yes.
Yeah, 0. It's a 0. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to give a 0 out, but okay.
It happens. And rewatchable.
Again, only if it's a part of a party in Orlando, 0.25. If not, that's also 0.
Well, even being generous, given that 0.25, that puts you at 1.5.
Whoa.
So even lower than you thought.
Wow.
But I bet you're probably okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right. What part do we do next here? Do we go to the coven? Yeah. Let's see what the club had to say in our Discord. I think it's going to be a little different.
Well, I can pull that up for you.
I'm there.
I got you.
Amazing.
Oh, I beat you. Did I beat you to it? No.
Yeah. Did you?
I did. All right. So we got Scooby Don't. Engaging.
No, to the top.
Wait.
All right, I got it.
I got a shrug.
So Trevor, Witchmaster of Pleasure, who suggested this movie and we picked it, says, "Woo! It's a 5 out of 5. Great tone, creatures, designs, plot line, pacing, all the gadgetry, and the comedic moments are fun."
Oh, you broke their heart. Oh, God.
We are so sorry.
I mean, I did have fun with it. I gave Cockles 1. Just remember that. Cronenberg said, "Loves it when he plays the guitar. His solos are tremendous. Plus, Jump is a keyboard banger. I even like it when Sammy Hagar joined his band." Wait, Van Helsing. Sorry, wrong guy.
I see what
Van
you
Halen.
did there.
You see what he did there? Mystery Street. That's Alex the Witch Plowix, I believe, joined in and said, "Oh no, this piece of shit."
Yikes.
Twitch T-Boo said, "You mean 10 out of 10? And then he said, "Legit 10, even if y'all watched it wrong. The opening is great," which we all said that pretty much. I mean, I think it's pretty melodramatic, but it is fun. Then we have people coming in with ratings. We got Evan, our witchy brethren, engaging 1. Like Stain said, "It's been a while, but I remember being really into it." Sticky 0.75. I remember it quite a bit. The things that bothered me, though, were Beckinsale's accent and Igor. Screw that guy. Oh, I thought Igor was fun.
Oh, wow.
But sure, screw that guy. That's why, it's all about what you like. That's what the process and the journey is. Even though we're all going through and telling you how we felt about it, it's for us all to learn. What was I saying? T-shirtable 1. Regardless of her accent, I'd wear Kate Beckinsale in that outfit on my shirt any day. There we go. Shout out. Cockles 1. Need I say more? Rewatchable 0.5. I like Stained and it's been a while. I'm just playing. I check it out again, but not too soon. I'd throw at the midnight showing Stan Helsing and all the baby vampire eggs. Think it comes out 4.25, which seems a bit high, but guys, come on, Kate Beckinsale, and like a nutting smiling face.
Fair.
And then Tebow did the scale. Engaging 1, saw it in theaters, owned the DVD, watched it numerous times. So yeah, it's a movie I've engaged with.
Okay.
Sticky 1, opening in black and white, and incredible. Van Helsing being part of a secret monster hunting operation is dope. Dracula is a cosmic emo 10. There you go, Ross.
There you go.
There's plenty of great action set pieces. It's just stuck all over me. I mean,
all right.
it seems like a lot of these people saw it when it came out and liked it then, so you were like the right age for it to hit.
Yeah, right bracket.
Even though they're all older than us. Not really. That'd be funny. All right. What did I say? Sticky T-shirtable 1. I'd love a shirt of Dracula and his brides all posted up around a gothic throne. Take Dracula out. That could be cool. But that's your shirt, Travis, and I hope you get it. Cockles 1. It's nostalgic and came along during a formative time. There you go. Rewatchable 0.75. I haven't rewatched it a very long time, possibly because I watched it so many times that it eventually got left behind like most things do. 4.75 is wrong as fuck. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10. I love Van Helsing. My bucket is Frankenstein's big empty head, and I'm burning down windmills at the midnight show.
See? But yeah, Frankenstein head.
So I hope you didn't... those who listen and participate, I hope you didn't mind too much listening. But it's all love. We all like different things. Well, that does it. We did it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. That does it for the Chuddle Movie Club Pod, Chuddle House Movie Club Pod meeting.
We
for
survived Van Helsing.
Yes.
Follow Chuddle the Pod on Instagram and Threads to stay up to date with the podcast. Follow Ross Purvis on Instagram if you want to see his tattoos and buy his art. Get tattooed by him if you're in the Central Florida area. You can follow Chuddle the Sam, Chuddle the Brown with a Y, and Chuddle the Ross all on Letterboxd if you want to know what we're up to there. If you want to jump in the Discord, be part of the community, you can do that too. All that is in the show notes. Oh, also join the Patreon, be a friend, tell a friend about the show, rate, review, all that stuff. Really, I want to thank our guests for joining us for the first time, hopefully not the last.
Definitely not.
Bobby, Michael, people under the scares, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. And if you want me to drag any childhood favorite movies, any other ones, I am available.
Exclusively.
I have been breaking Bobby's heart with all this.
It's like when we did Monster Squad with Ross.
Yep.
Well, Mike likes the Monster Squad.
That was different. We're stabbing vampires for real in that one.
Remind the people under the scares, all podcast players, is that your name on? I should know because we've been messaging on Instagram. People under the scares.
Bobby, you want me to go? You go.
Sure. People under the scares. Podcast. We on all podcasting platforms. We talked about it at the beginning of this episode. We talk all horror movies and all that fun stuff. A lot of banter and a lot of fun. And it's not just all horror movies, it's theme episodes too. So sometimes like you hear our lovers in horror episode, which is just discussing couples in horror and would they make it or not. So we do stuff like that. But yeah, you can find us on, People Under the Scares on Blue Sky, Instagram.
Oh, you're doing Blueski? How's Blueski? I haven't checked it out.
Blue Sky is pretty cool. It's still growing, but a lot of people migrated from X to Blueski, so I'm over there in those streets.
Twitter.
Is this an official nickname, Blueski, that you're giving it, or?
My wife called it that because she thought it was funny, and so now I called it
funny.
that.
Yeah. What I don't like though is how on Twitter people say tweets. Well, on Blue Sky, some people are saying skeets, and I don't like that. That just sounds disgusting.
Ooh.
So show me your skeet.
Yeah. Guys, I skeeted a lot today.
I skeeted a lot, right?
Oh, I am on Blue Sky, it turns out.
But yeah, we're all on there. And my personal was Bobby Torres with a Z, not an S, on those same platforms. What about you, Mike?
At ThackReBinks86 on Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm about to be off of Twitter, but whatever. But mainly those two.
Great. Well, thanks again. We did it. We did the show. We did the Van Helsing. It's time to get out of here. Until next time, avoid the time loop.